Watching the American on ESPN from beautiful Boca Raton. UConn football is having a moment. A chance to write a new chapter of program history in their hands. But Florida Atlantic plays with desperation today. The Owls need 2 wins to close the season to earn bowl eligibility. Today, one of the hottest teams in college football stands in their way. UConn and Florida Atlantic coming up next. Welcome into Flagler Credit Union Stadium. Great to be alongside Patrick Murray. I'm AJ Ricketts. Savannah Collins will join us on the sidelines momentarily. All right, FAU wants to end that 4-year bowl drought. UConn has a chance to make program history. They've never had back-to-back 9-win seasons. You add the team significance to some of the best quarterbacks and wideout play in the country, and this is one to keep your eyes on.
Important game for the Huskies and Owls, and we could see a lot of points in this one as well. 2 of the best wide receivers in the country. UConn wideout Skylar Bell leads the nation in receptions and touchdown catches. He's from the Bronx, transferred in from Wisconsin before last season. He's worked really hard on his concentration, which has led to less drops, more contested catches, but where he can really burn you is after the catch. 730 yards after the catch for Bell. That's more than 200 more than second place in the country.
Number 1 in the country in receptions is Bell. Number 2 is on the other side for FAU. Easton Messer's been fantastic this season.
Messer, a short guy in the slot. He patterns his game after Julian Edelman, former New England Patriots great. He can burn you deep. He can beat you after the catch as well. It's going to be fun to watch those 2 today.
Let's send it to the 3rd member of our team on the sidelines, Savannah Collins.
Well, every Tuesday morning, Coach Kitley comes in with the keys to victory in all 3 phases. This week, written 3 times, just ball. That was it. The team's issues with taking care of the ball and turnovers has really been the monkey on their back, and Coach said that he believes that's what this game is going to come down to, especially in one that is going to be make or break in whether or not they get on a plane to play in a bowl game in December. But he said throughout practice this week, with their backs against the wall, there's been no drop-off, knowing what's at stake today.
Beautiful day here in Boca Raton. Perfect conditions. It's been a fabulous week of weather. 80 degrees today. No chance of rain. It's FAU and UConn set to go. UConn winners of 7 of their last 8. Florida Atlantic needs to win today. Needs to take down ECU in the season finale, but that won't matter if they can't get past the Huskies. Plenty on the line here for both sides.
UConn has been a really good team this year, but they're 2-3 on the road. All 3 of those losses coming in overtime. A lot of close games for the Huskies. Can Florida Atlantic give them another one today?
UConn 8-3, coming off a gritty win against Air Force last week. Time of possession was really slanted, particularly in that first half. Found a way to come out on top once again, undefeated at home this year. As kickoff sails into the end zone for a touchback. Huskies will start at the 25 and getting a look at one of the most dynamic QBs in the country this season, Joe Fignano, who transferred in from Maine a couple years ago, started his college career in 2019 as a walk-on for the Black Bears. Now there's a little bit of Heisman discussion, if you will.
A 7th-year senior, Joe Fignano takes care of the football, 25 touchdowns, 1 interception. He makes good decisions, can fit it into tight windows. Fignano really accurate, really good processing, recognizing what's going on with the defense in front of him.
Finally threw his first interception of the season last week. He had been perfect. 25 touchdowns with just 1 pick on the season. On first down, wheel route outside. It's Bell down the sideline, 1 to beat, and he's across the 35. Big time start for Skylar Bell.
Skylar Bell, we talked about him in the open. He's the dynamic player. They will move him all over the field and get him on the wheel route this time out of the backfield. Tough matchup for Florida Atlantic. And a big play. What a way to start the game for the Huskies.
Gain of 40 on the first play from scrimmage from UConn.
You got to know where number 1 is at all times. If you're Florida Atlantic, he's at the top of the screen near the boundary this time.
Pistol look here with Edwards, the tailback. Will take his first handoff to the near side and stumble forward for a couple of yards.
The impact players when UConn has the football offensively for the Huskies. Ben Morawski, big number 77, the left tackle. He could be a road grader. They love to run the football. And then for Florida Atlantic, CJ Doggett, he's going to be number 1 right in the middle of the defense for Florida Atlantic in the interior. He'll be key to helping them stop the run today.
Doggett leads FAU in sacks this season with 4. Morawski finally healthy. Big part of that offensive line. Second handoff here. Edwards cuts left. Finds a seam and barrels over the first defender. First down yardage. Cam Edwards getting active early.
Edwards is a 1,000-yard back. He and Bell, the first 1,000-yard running back wide receiver duo for UConn since 1988. That's the kind of year the Huskies have had offensively.
Just playmakers all across the field for UConn. Vignano's a Davey O'Brien Award semifinalist. Skylar Bell's a Bolitnikoff semifinalist. Go empty backfield here on 1st and 10 at the 20. Near side, open tight end. Oh, he ran into his own man. Good defending on the near side as that's broken up. Alex Honig was the intended target. Cam Edwards was in the area too, trying to lay a block.
Therese Reed was right there to break it up, and UConn tried to fake the screen and then go down the field, but Therese Reed coming through the block of Edwards. Edwards tried to time up that block. Could have been offensive pass interference, but Reed makes the play. Reed makes the play.
Two in the backfield here. A handoff on a sweep to the outside. FAU, good pursuit. No gain on the play on the edge rush.
And Mel Brown getting in the game there for UConn at running back. He hasn't played since the second game of the season, but Florida Atlantic does a great job setting the edge there, and there's one of our impact players, CJ Doggett, making the tackle. Setting the edge will be important today for Florida Atlantic against UConn. They like to run outside zone. They want to get you flowing towards the sideline.
3rd and 11.
Well, Skylar Bell at the bottom of the screen, looking like a one-on-one matchup. That's where they love to go.
Play clock at 5. FAU brings 5. Vignano across the middle behind his intended target. That'll set up 4th and long. Field goal unit coming out. Trying to hit Lewis Hansen, one of his backup tight ends.
Vignano just trying to keep his tight end protected there. On the left side of the screen, you see 20, Chris Keys coming in. Vignano was worried about him coming in to break up that play, tried to put it in the right spot for Hansen, but just a little bit too wide.
Nice red zone stop here for FAU out of the gates. Be a 39-yard attempt for Chris Freeman, Lou Groza semifinalist. He's 20 for 23 on the campaign. This is curling right here, but sneaks through. A little close by the end of it, with Freeman continues his solid campaign. UConn striking for 3 on their first drive are underway in Boca Raton.
Introducing SportsCenter for you, personalized every single day. Now available on the ESPN app. Powered by your favorites.
Here for FAU after UConn got to the 20, forcing a Husky field goal. Owls' first possession coming up momentarily. Boca Raton, Flagler Credit Union Stadium. A.J. Ricketts, Patrick Murray, Savannah Collins. Owls play well here at home this season, 3-1. Two-game sprint to the finish. They're excited for this opportunity. Zach Kitley, we were talking with him. He was telling us his message to the team said, look, we are where we are. Backs are against the wall. I want us to come out swinging here today.
Now that's typically what Florida Atlantic does under Zach Kitley. They are very aggressive, especially offensively with the tempo. They go for it on fourth down more than anybody in the country, and they throw it more than just about anybody in the country.
Here's Caden Veltkamp, who's put up more passing yards than anyone in the country. Against Tulane, he broke the program's single game completions record, but the turnovers were costly throughout, 3 interceptions, and that's been kind of representative of the MO this year for FAU.
Yeah, that's got to be better for Veltkamp. 14 interceptions this year, most in the country. Also leads the country in completions and attempts. And none of his interceptions are really egregious mistakes. Just little things here and there that he's got to clean up. And he's been unlucky at times, too.
Yeah, a lot of deflections, batted balls. It's added up to 14 picks. He finds Messer, his favorite target, on the first completion. Gets a gain of 10 on that. As we take a look at your impact players, Ben.
Our impact players going with Jay Sean Platt, number 3 at wide receiver for Florida Atlantic, and Brian Parham at linebacker for UConn.
With that tempo, gain of 3 on the play. 3 interceptions and a fumble last week, costly in the 11-point loss at Tulane. Took away 4 turnovers, 11 points. That certainly could have gone a long way against one of the top G5 teams in the country. Veltkamp, all sorts of time to scan. Good comeback route, Platt has it. He's to the 45 as the Owls move the football across midfield.
Now Florida Atlantic going super fast with the tempo there. UConn couldn't even get lined up on the defensive line, couldn't get much of a pass rush, and Veltkamp's able to complete that one on the perimeter.
Platt had it secured back-to-back 100-yard games before the Tulane matchup. 1st and 10. Veltkamp to the sideline. That swivels out of play.
Veltkamp's pass incomplete.
And UConn, very unique defensively. They run a 3-3-5, kind of Rocky Long style. So what they'll do is they've got their 3 defensive linemen, and they could be bringing any one of their 3 linebackers rushing the passer on any given play. So it can be tough for a quarterback like Veltkamp to decipher what's happening, and they mix up their coverage as well in the back end too. You never know what they're going to play.
The biggest challenge for UConn today is that this offense for FAU is the polar opposite of what they just prepped all week for last time out against Air Force. High-flying spread attack as Veltkamp facing pressure, takes a hit, gets it out into the flat as Caden Shields Dutton makes the catch out of the backfield. Umar Diamande had the quarterback hurry.
A great composure there from Veltkamp. And Diamande, one of those linebackers coming right up the middle. He was untouched. Veltkamp took a shot but delivered an accurate ball to move the chains there. Nicely done by the QB.
Jim Mora was talking about the challenge presented. Says you cannot find 2 more different offenses. We have to be ready for that adjustment. Veltkamp whistles blow.
Ball start. Offense, number 57. 5-yard penalty. It's first down.
It's Jacavion Nonar.
Nonar was a tight end last year. This is really his first full year playing offensive line. Really big dude at 6'8", 315 at left tackle. He's got to stay focused there.
Positive start to the drive for Veltkamp and company. He had scored on the opening drive of 6 straight games before last week's opening drive interception. Toss play, right side, trying to get back to the original line of scrimmage. We'll set up 2nd down. Yeah, we're talking with Zach Kitley, FAU head coach. He said, I went into the locker room at halftime and told him, guys, they're beating us, but we're outplaying them. We're hurting ourselves with all the turnovers. He was actually pretty impressed with his team's effort. Veltkamp will check it down again. Shields Dutton wrapped up 4 Huskies eventually swarm. It'll be 3rd and long.
Complete to Caden Shields-Dutton.
A 3rd and long, and here's where you got to watch out for UConn's pressure package. They may line up with 6 or 7 guys on the line of scrimmage here. Shields-Dutton really trying to fight through that tackle, but UConn does a good job of rallying to the football and getting into a 3rd and long. And the Huskies here will likely show 6 or 7 guys at the line of scrimmage, and Florida Atlantic's got to decipher who's coming, who's not.
Lee Millette and Devin Pringle eventually got in on the tackle. Empty backfield, 3rd and 10. Wasim, quick out, looking for space, wrapped up. Aaron Key got to Wasim before he could break free. And field goal unit's going to trot out.
As that Kitley is a very aggressive guy in terms of 4th downs. He's going to go by the analytics book typically on what he should do, but early in the game, down 3, he's going to send out the field goal unit, try and tie it up.
We're getting an early look at both kickers here on each team's first drive. This is Garrison Smith, the redshirt senior, 14 for 16 on the season. Long of 48. Kicking up, looking good. Garrison Smith bolts it through. Fields goal for Fields goal. 3-3 midway through the first quarter. UConn and FAU here in Boca. Tied at 3, 8:47 to play in the first quarter. Patrick, here's another look at that first play from scrimmage that went for 40.
Skylar Bell at the bottom of the screen. He motions into the backfield. Now watch the safety coming down at the 30-yard line, top of the hash. He's got to cover him one-on-one. They set a little pick on him. You get Bell on the wheel route out of the backfield, and you get the big play down the sideline. And Gordon Samus, offensive coordinator for the Huskies, does a really good job of moving Bell around, making it hard for the defense to adjust to where he is and cover him.
You know, entering this afternoon's game, Bell had 3 times as many receptions as anybody else on this UConn roster. How does Samus get Bell so involved when you know defenses are game planning for his efficiency?
Well, Bell gives him a lot to work with because he can run the entire route tree really well, really good route runner. They're going to line him up all over the place, in the slot, outside, in the backfield, and get him in stacks and bunches. It makes it really difficult for the defense to key on where he is.
Mel Brown handling kickoff duties, takes it outside of the 20, short of the 25. Second drive for Joe Finiano and company. Stalls on the edge of the red zone, their first trip down. This has been a prolific offense this season, averaging nearly 450 yards, nearly 300 through the air. Of course, Cam Edwards certainly get it done on the ground as well, 1,000-yard rusher.
Finiano, it's really important to keep him clean, keep him protected. He's a 76% completion percentage guy when he's clean. That drops to 44% when he's under pressure. O-line key for the Huskies.
Starts this drive, an empty backfield. Quick throw to Bell, has some blockers. Skylar Bell gets free again. And Bell is nearly to midfield.
Finiano's pass complete.
Really solid start to the first quarter for Skylar Bell from his grad student quarterback, Joe Finiano. He's continuing to have a nice first quarter.
And a nice block on the left side there by Raymello Murphy, one of Bell's fellow wideouts. They love to throw him the screens and let him go after the catch. He's got great acceleration.
59 receiving yards already for Bell here in the first quarter. Hand off to Brown, getting a couple carries here in the first. Flag flies late.
Mel Brown, ball carrier, but there's a flag on the play.
Personal foul. Face mask. Defense number 9. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the play. Automatic first down.
So FAU face mask there. That'll move the Huskies forward 15 yards.
They're calling Nate John Barber, and from his defensive tackle spot on the face mask there on the run play, and an easy first down there for UConn. They got to try to finish this drive.
41-yard line.
Kamari Johnson sprinting on the field at the last moment there defensively, FAU linebacker. First and 10. They fake the handoff. Finiano facing pressure over the hands of Bell. And a little bit of space there once the route progressed. And it's wild to think how Joe Finiano's collegiate career began all the way back 2019. He went through all the COVID protocols. He was all-conference second team in Maine. And who would have thought in that after that 2020 campaign, and all this would be taking place now.
Yeah, Finiano with 4 years at Maine, now in his third year at UConn's had a great season today. Dealt with some injuries in 2023, missed most of that year, had to split time with Nick Evers, the transfer last season, and it's been his team this year.
Fake to Edwards, slant to Bell, across the 30, and Bell into a trio of defenders out across the 25-yard line. There's not too many 2019ers left in college football, extending that eligibility that UConn's grateful for. The man is down here.
It's Skylar Bell.
He was sandwiched in between 3 FAU defenders there.
Well, this is obviously key for UConn, and on what happens with Bell here. Therese Reed was covering him man-to-man on that quick slant on the backside of that run play, and at the end he just kind of gets tangled up in a bunch of bodies, gets his legs cut out from underneath him, and lands kind of awkwardly on his head and his neck. Skylar Bell out of the Bronx, went to Wisconsin, and after a couple years transferred to UConn, spent last year in Connecticut, and this year has really been the breakout year for Skylar Bell, certainly an NFL draft prospect.
Jim Mora was raving about Skylar Bell in our conversations with him this week. Said his ability to block out the noise, work his tail off every day when he comes in here, whether it's film study, practice, weights, and that's good to see him back on his feet. Walking gingerly right now back to that Connecticut sideline. Calls for concern right now for UConn fans.
One more look at the hit here, getting chopped down at the knees and then just kind of flipping out of the neck there. May have been one of his legs that's bothering him. Looks like he's pointing at that left knee.
I hope that's just a stinger. There's a high-speed hit there off of the slant route. Does give UConn a first down, so we'll keep an eye on the status of Skylar Bell. It's certainly a big development here midway through the first quarter. Vignano checks it to the near side. It's dropped. The play kept going. Now it's ruled incomplete along the near sideline.
Vignano trying to get it out to Terrence Smith. That's kind of their gadget player. He's a young guy, redshirt freshman, but they really like his speed. They use him in the Wildcat sometimes, try to get him set up with a screen there, but just drops it. And that should be an incomplete pass. It was a forward pass, hit the hands, went right to the ground.
$53 yards on this drive thus far. The pistol look, stretch play, near side. FAU's defense swarming.
Mark Johnson doing a great job just shooting through that gap there to make the stop from the linebacker spot. And we may see a little more Cam Edwards right now from UConn with Skylar Bell getting checked out on the sidelines. And CJ Doggett from his defensive line spot. He's the leader, the heart and soul of this defense. Quiet guy, but when he talks, everybody listens.
Ramello Murphy's the second leading receiver this season for UConn. He entered today with 29 catches. Compared to the 90+ for Skylar Bell. 3rd and 9. Vignano has a pocket. Launches. End zone to his tight end. He's got him. Touchdown. UConn. No, that's Nider. John Nider, the wideout. And UConn makes it 9-3.
John Nider, the former Connecticut Gatorade Player of the Year as a quarterback in high school, came to UConn as a walk-on, but he's got some hops. Look at him go up top and high point that ball, making the grab in man-to-man coverage, and UConn getting in the end zone.
Chris Freeman on for the extra point.
Second touchdown of the season for Nider, 23rd catch. The former walk-on continuing to make a huge impact this year for UConn as Freeman's out for the PAT. No problems there. John Nider, high pointing, getting it done.
Nider, the Connecticut native, getting it done for his home state team. The Huskies have the lead in Boca Raton.
John Nider, big time play here in the first quarter as UConn goes up a touchdown. Former walk-on who Jim Moore told us earlier in his career walked into his office, said, "Coach, I deserve a scholarship at this point." And Jim Moore said, "You know what? Yeah, you do. We're giving it to you."
Yeah, I was talking to UConn wide receivers coach Kashif Moore earlier this week, and he said John Nider, he called him the silent assassin. He said he just quietly goes about his business. He's a workhorse, does anything you ask him to do. And he's made some big plays for UConn this year, especially in that game they won at Boston College.
His plays starting to ring a little louder here for the Huskies. It's part of this 8-win campaign. Jay-Sean Platt, good return. He's out across the 30-yard line, always dangerous on special teams. Jay-Sean Platt gives FAU good starting field position.
Yeah, this Florida Atlantic special teams unit under Tyler Skuvanik has been really dynamic this year, especially in the kick return and punt return area, setting up the offense with decent field position here.
Platt had 200+ all-purpose yards at Navy a couple weeks ago. The Owls will start this drive at the 31 after their opening drive field goal. It's now opening drive points on 7 of their last 8 games. Camp on 1st and 10 will throw. High across the middle into a little bit of traffic, but that's caught by Dom Henry. First catch of the game for the redshirt junior.
That is a tight window throw. Veldkamp really had to fit that one in there. A nice concentration by Henry, too.
Seconds later, Owls have their next snap on 1st down. Veldkamp near side, watch out. Nearly a pick 6 there. Cam Chadwick had it read.
Now, Chadwick had a 3-interception game earlier this year against UAB. A little RPO there. Veldkamp thought he had enough cushion. Chadwick gave him some space, but watch how quickly he breaks on this ball, recognizes it, and erases that cushion to knock it away. And Chadwick's thinking afterward, "Oh, I shouldn't have knocked it down. I should have tried to pick it," and it would have been in the end zone, but still a nice play.
This is Messer, the motion man. Owls keep it on the ground. Sliding off a tackle or two through the middle is Jamari Sands. First carry of the day for the redshirt sophomore, South Florida native, attended school nearby at St. Thomas Aquinas. 3rd down, near side. Henry, another catch. Chadwick wraps him up, but it's 1st down yardage.
Florida Atlantic using the tempo there on 3rd down to try to negate the pressure package from UConn, and I think it worked, and Veldkamp able to get that ball out quickly to move the chains.
Owls will play with one of the quickest tempos in the country. Veldkamp out of the gun here, fresh set of downs. Just over 5 minutes to play in the 1st quarter. Another handoff. Sands navigating. Ben Smiley was the first to wrap him up. And the run game has been a point of contention for the Owls this year, near the bottom of the American rankings. If they could just, Zach Kidley told us, be around 140, 150 yards per game. He feels that could open up the offense even more than the passing game already has flourished this year. Veldkamp scrambling off his back foot, out of play. 3rd and 8.
Umar Diamande getting the pressure there on Veldkamp and forcing him to escape the pocket. And now another 3rd and long situation for Florida Atlantic, and we should see the Huskies again come with that pressure package, that mug front, and Florida Atlantic wants to try to beat it with perimeter screens and getting the running back quickly to the flat.
They show 7. Zach Kidley said he saw a lot of this at Texas Tech against Washington State last year. Feels there's some vulnerabilities with it. They rush 4, they go to the side. And scooting 4 is close was Assad Wasim making his first catch of the day. It's going to be 4th and short.
A 4th down, but they're going tempo, going to go for it as quickly as they can. UConn getting some subs in.
Owls go for it on 4th down more than anyone else in the country. They need a yard here. Veldkamp is going to throw near side, and that's blasted in the backfield. Lee Millett's reading the screen. Assad Wasim could go nowhere, and UConn gets the 4th down stop.
That little bobble from Wasim cost him about half a second, and that gave Millett enough time to come up and lay the lick on him. Henry had made a nice block. Wasim had a chance to pick up that first down, but this bobble right there, that cost him the time, and Millette's able to close that gap and shut it down, get the turnover on downs.
I think Millette still may have had him. Great pursuit on the edge. Redshirt junior from Brentwood, Tennessee. Very active and engaged here defensively on the outside for UConn. Stuffs FAU on 4th down. Now the 3rd drive for the Huskies and company. Pistol look. Stretch play to the near side. Mel Brown getting a couple carries here in this first quarter, splitting the workload with Cam Edwards.
And Mel Brown had a really great start to the year, was averaging about 10 yards a carry through the first 2 games, but got injured, had to miss a bunch of time, and finally healthy enough to come back in the Huskies' final game of the regular season here.
Yeah, Victor Rosa and Oliver Lundberg-Coleman have handled most of the backup duties at running back, but it's really been the Cam Edwards show, to be quite honest. Empty look, now Brown motions backfield. Vignano to the outside, caught Shamar Porter down the sideline. Porter with speed, Porter, end zone, UConn!
Touchdown, UConn.
The Huskies are rolling. That one goes for 56. And it's a comfortable first quarter lead already.
And that one is all about the processing of Joe Vignano. Florida Atlantic brings a corner blitz. He recognizes it right away. Coming from the right side, the bottom of the screen, recognizes it right away, beats it, and then Porter to break the tackle and the speed down the sideline to finish it in the end zone.
First touchdown of the season for Shamar Porter. Former 4-star recruit. He was a top 30 wideout nationally out of high school. Started his career at Kentucky. Well, he's a thriving part of this prolific group of wideouts here at UConn. Vignano pressing the right buttons, recognizing the defense here.
Yeah, when you see a blitz coming, usually the best spot to beat it is where the blitz came from. And Vignano recognized right away Florida Atlantic is bringing a corner blitz, throws it to the receiver that corner was over in Porter, and then Porter made a nice play to break a tackle and bust it down the sideline to score.
So after FAU goes for it on 4th down, the screen plays blown up. UConn strikes just 2 plays later. We mentioned it a few moments ago. Zach Kitley wanted to see his team come out swinging. He quickly finds his Owls down 14.
And this is a really key drive right here for Florida Atlantic, and like is typical for the Owls, they've been moving the ball well, but they haven't been able to finish their drives. Settle for a field goal in the first one, get stopped on 4th and short on the second one, and Florida Atlantic really needs a touchdown on this drive to make sure that UConn can't pull away.
Jim Moore was so proud of his team coming off the win against Duke. He said, we win a game like that, late 4th quarter, touchdown with under 2 minutes to go. Everyone's patting you on the back. There's a lot of noise. Felt it was a really disciplined effort against an Air Force squad that can always cause plenty of frustration. Their time of possession numbers. But UConn perfect at home this season. They're loving it in East Hartford right now. Having a moment this year. 8 wins, maybe 9 in back-to-back seasons. It never happens in UConn football. Off to a great start in securing that right now.
A really historic season for the Huskies. They've been great offensively, and then even Brian Parham on the defensive side for the Huskies at linebacker. He's the only player in the country with more than 100 tackles and 10 sacks. He's been super dynamic.
Partying like it's 2010 up in Connecticut, maybe even a better season coming up soon. Dom Henry with the catch. Taken down to the hashes at the 40-yard line. As again, FAU's been moving the football, drive stalling.
Yeah, it's rare to see a first down blitz, but Huskies bring it. Veltkamp beats it.
Great pocket. Veltkamp on the crosser. Easton Messer made the catch, but didn't get much.
And Umar Diamande making the stop there on Messer, the linebacker. He's another guy from the Bronx, just like Bell. The son of West African immigrants, and has really found his home here at UConn, and we got a player down for the Huskies.
Yeah, it's Lee Millette. Got the pass breakup on that last drive. Yeah, he talked about Diamande. Jim Moore was saying when we were trying to evaluate and build a relationship with him, the film video we got, I mean, it was grainy. It looked like old iPhone video, old cell phone video, but he's playing in a park. But we were able to establish a connection with him, with our linebackers coach, had similar backgrounds, and they connected right away. Big part of Diamande deciding to come to UConn. As Millett is up on his feet. Good to see.
And the interesting thing is Diamande didn't think he would even go to college. He was applying for blue-collar jobs, and they're in New York City, and then UConn wanted him. And he's like, sure, I'll go to college. I'll play some football. And he has really been a very good player, more than 100 tackles on the season. And is still a young guy as a redshirt sophomore. He's going to be the centerpiece of this defense for a couple years.
What's fun about this UConn side? There's a couple players with some fun stories like that. Kyle Jurgens, their left tackle, was doing landscaping in Idaho when he connected with the UConn staff. Hand off to the near side here, gets FAU close to first down yardage. Let's send it down to Savannah on the sideline with more. Flag on that play. 3rd and 12 moves the Owls back. 2:30 to go here in the first quarter. An opening stanza that's been dominated by the Huskies on the road. Messer moving the pocket. Scrambles right. Sets his feet, throws on the run. Dangerous pass picked off. McLean got to it. Real dangerous throw, and Malachi McLean picks him off. UConn takes it away. And Veldkamp with his 15th pick of the season.
And that started with the pressure from UConn. That they mugged the front. They show you 7. They only bring 3, but Donovan Branch got some pressure on Veldkamp, made him run around, and just an ill-advised decision to throw back across the body late there. Branch number 11 from the right side of the screen pressuring him. And just not a smart play there from Veldkamp. Sands lit up McLean, but he did a great job to hold on to it and secure that pick.
Yeah, we mentioned a significant percentage of Caden Veldkamp's interceptions this year have been bad luck. That's a throw he would probably like that.
Yeah, I've watched every one of Veldkamp's interceptions. That was the worst one of the season in terms of decision making. The others, he's had some poor luck and some other things going wrong.
Edwards out of the pistol look. Cam Edwards breaks free and swung down across the 35. The run game for UConn contributing here first quarter.
Cam Edwards on the run. John Nider had a nice block for him there on the outside from the wide receiver spot to get him into the 3rd level of that defense.
And Skylar Bell coming back off the sideline for this play here. Good to see Bell good to go after being nicked up on a really crunching tackle a few minutes ago. Pistol look again. They fake the stretch. Vignano all sorts of time. A great play call. Wide open tight end. Dashing to the end zone. That's a touchdown. 32 yards on the play. Alex Honig scores, and UConn rolling.
Everybody was paying attention to Skylar Bell. He was the first read on the play. Vignano was looking down the middle. They covered him up, and it's a little tight end leak play. It's a Kyle Shanahan type play. Honig acting like he's blocking, just kind of slips out into that area, open area, and Florida Atlantic doesn't cover him. Great job by Vignano of finding his tight end for the score.
UConn fans well aware this tight end, former quarterback across the Atlantic over in Germany for Swabish Hall, the Unicorns. He's scoring points for the Huskies now. Started his career at TCU. It's been all over. He's in the end zone right now, 24-3. UConn an imprint early.
Wow, this Huskies offense has really been rolling. And even they had a drive or two without Skylar Bell. And he was double covered on that play, but Honig gets open, and Joe Vignano has got this Huskies offense humming. 188 passing yards and 3 touchdowns in the first quarter.
They're clicking on all cylinders right now. they're happy to just be on the field as often as they are after last week, having to wait so long between possessions. They're taking advantage of it.
Yeah, Air Force at one point last week had a 19-play, 90-yard drive that UConn stopped without allowing any points, but the offense is sitting on the sideline like, are we going to get to play today, or what's it?
I mean, how about the job Jim Moore has done? You could sense how much fun he was having with this in our conversation, where he's just telling stories about different guys, or he said, you know, my job at this point in my career is just to pour back into everyone on this roster. He has folks in East Hartford thrilled at what's going on. Look at the yardage disparity already.
Yeah, 231 for UConn, 100 for Florida Atlantic. Owls have moved the ball decently, but haven't been able to put it in the end zone, and that last turnover hurt them, turning into 7 points for the Huskies.
What's the message from Zach Kitley right now?
It's just keep going. I mean, guys, we're moving the football. Got to put the defense in a little bit better positions. They put them in poor field position a couple of times, and got to get some stops. But the way that this Florida Atlantic offense goes, the pace that they go at, their aggressiveness, they can put points on the board quickly. It's possible for them to come back in this game.
82 of those 100 FAU yards through the air. They're going to need Veldkamp to be turnover free the rest of the way. They need production. Draw play, first down, stymied. UConn's D-line quick to the football.
Trent Jones making that stop, but it was Ben Smiley that had the initial penetration into the backfield that kind of blew up that play. And Florida Atlantic with a tough start behind the sticks to start this drive.
Less than a minute to play first quarter. A quarter that can't end soon enough for FAU. Veldkamp. Decent protection downfield. Another dangerous throw. It's snagged, though, by Jaysean Platt, right as the safety, Lee Millet's, was in the area.
A really nice ball placement from Veldkamp, though, keeping it away from Millette, and nice hands by Platt to go out and snag it.
Into the paths of Sands, spinning off a tackle, only earned an extra yard. Sands has been injured at different points this season. Back in the rotation a couple games ago. Veldkamp surveys. We'll check it down to Sands. Shouldered out of play right at the 44. The UConn bench fired up. This UConn team fired up. What a first half performance. Dazzling in South Florida. UConn up 21. Nider got the scoring going. Honick contributed as well. 24-3 after one. And the Goodyear Blimp getting some run here in beautiful Boca Raton. 24-3, UConn all over FAU after a quarter of play. Owls need to turn things around quickly if they're going to have any shot at bowl eligibility. 24 points in the first quarter. That's more than the Huskies have scored in a pair of games this season. Joe Moore has to love what he's seeing from his offense right now.
Absolutely, and Joe Fignano's done an outstanding job at quarterback of just picking apart FAU, finding the weaknesses of their defense.
Quick throw from Veldkamp to the outside. That's complete across midfield. Assad Wasim, second catch of the game. And he brought down at the 45.
And Zach Kitley, with his aggressive air raid offense, that they can come back in a hurry.
Check down. Sands nearly evades the first tackles. He slipped up inside the 40. It was actually the fourth catch by Wasim, Colorado transfer.
There's been a lot of checkdowns today for Veldkamp. UConn's done a good job in coverage.
Pitch to Messer. Has a bit of a gap. Messer down the sideline. Tiptoes. Touchdown. Owls bounce back.
Zach Kitley getting creative with the run play to his wide receiver. Little toss to Messer. He got some great blocking in front of him. Florida Atlantic's looking to come back. Look at 23 on the right side. Jamari Sands. He's going to get a big block downfield, just blowing up the safety, giving Messer that space on the outside to get to the end zone.
39 yards for Easton Messer. Sixth touchdown of the season, and FAU at last has some life again.
And the Owls really needed that one. It was all UConn. They had all kinds of momentum. And now Florida Atlantic's defense is going to have to come up with a stop.
Officials took a quick moment to confirm that Messer stayed in play. Send Garrison Smith on now for the PAT with that confirmation.
Every play is reviewed by the replay official in the booth. They may not stop the play to review it, but they are looking at it, so they confirm that. Easton Messer getting the toss out of the backfield, running behind his blockers with the speed to the end zone, keeping the Owls in this game. 24-10, UConn in front.
UConn with a 2-touchdown advantage despite the 39-yard score from Easton Messer. 7 plays, 75-yard drive. 24-10 here in Boca Raton. AJ Ricketts, Patrick Murray, Savannah Collins. Glad to have you with us on ESPN+. Easton Messer, he's got his whole family here today. Zach Kitley's family's in town as well. Of course, his dad, a national championship head coach at Texas Tech Track and Field. They're in town for a week and a half. Liking what they saw on that last drive. 2 minutes, 75 yards.
Zach Kitley's a family guy. He's got it on the wall in his office as one of his pillars of his program.
Off into the end zone for a touchback. So Joe Fignano and company have just been prolific. They've been unstoppable in the first 15+ minutes.
They started with a field goal, then 3 straight touchdowns. John Nider going up top to grab the first one. Then Porter down the sideline with the speed. And Fignano's been excellent with his processing today, just picking apart the Owls defense, finding those holes. And the tight end, Honig, on the tight end leak play, getting loose for the last score. UConn with 24 points in the first quarter, their most this season.
Fignano in Connecticut start this drive at the 25. Quickly to the near side. That's caught in a quick turn. Lewis Hansen, tight ends. It's about 9 yards on the play. Jim Moore was talking about Honig, who again had a quarterback background in Germany, said he eventually wants to be a strength and conditioning coach. We love his physique. It's perfect. He's an athlete. He's mature. He's married. We need guys like him on this roster.
Yeah, Honig at 6'7", 270, and he's right at about 14% body fat. That's a whole lot of muscle.
He's getting some calls about some of these college all-star games coming up. He's had a great season. In around to Mel Brown. Good pursuits along the edge from the Owls. But UConn only needed a yard, which they secure. First down. Tyler Stolsky in on the tackle, second on FAU in that department.
And UConn's offensive coordinator, Gordon Samus, is a former offensive line coach, which it is pretty rare these days. I mean, usually it's going to be a quarterback's coach that ends up being the offensive coordinator. But Samus, you would think an O-line guy might be running the ball every down, but the Huskies actually lean pass, and they've done a great job on both sides with the pass and the run this year.
Brown, the tailback here. Play clock. Gonna hit 0 first.
Number 73. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Rare first half miscue for the Huskies here.
And UConn does a really good job offensively of avoiding negative plays. Top 20 in the country in fewest sacks and tackles for loss allowed, and only 2 turnovers the entire season for UConn. That's the fewest in the country.
These are insane numbers. This is their final regular season game.
Yeah, 2 turnovers. That's unheard of.
That doesn't happen in college football. It's it out to the outside. Brown does bring it in at the 30. Fignano facing late pressure there. Second down.
We just talked about the lack of negative plays for the UConn offense, and they got 2 in a row, the penalty, and then behind here, Josh Roberts with the pressure, the freshman defensive end for Florida Atlantic, making Fignano get that ball out.
Roberts had a pick the other week. Showed some hands after letting one slip through in the Tulsa game that we had a couple years ago.
Heard
weeks
about
ago,
that one in the film room, and he improved.
Hand off. Back to the line of scrimmage. Mel Brown getting a lot of run here in the first half.
Well, this is a key spot here for Florida Atlantic's defense because they finally got UConn in a 3rd and long, and this is where you can typically bring pressure. We'll see what defensive coordinator Brett Dewhurst decides to do here. Does he want to sit back on a 3rd and 12 and play coverage, or does he bring the blitz, try to get to Fignano?
Dewhurst talked about the need to incorporate that pressure, get Fignano off his game a little bit, keep him out of rhythm. Touchdown to interception ratio, so prolific. Fignano facing 4-man rush. Gets it to the near side. First down secured and a couple extra yards. That's Raymello Murphy out to midfield for the Huskies.
Yeah, the Owls decide to play coverage, and they go zone. Fignano just finding the soft spot. And nice moves here by Murphy. Just a little shake with 3 guys around him. He needed that to be able to pick up that extra yard or 2 to move the chains.
Jim Morris said we tried to get him a couple years ago, ended up at Arizona first, but He hit the portal. Glad to get him to Connecticut. Love his personality. They said he lights up the room. Couple catches here in the first half. Vignano rolling. Oh, he lost the football. Scoops it and brought down immediately at the 30. Big loss there as UConn goes backwards. It's a loss of 19.
Yeah, big time mistake there for UConn. Very rare for Vignano being loose with the football. Tried to pull it back like he was getting ready to throw it and just lost the handle on it. Damon Allen cleaning it up. And a big opportunity for Florida Atlantic to get off the field here.
UConn has scored on every possession. Field goal to start the game and then 3 touchdowns. Vignano lofts it. Caught. Owls pursue. That's tackled at the 31. It's going to be a 3rd and a mile.
Yeah, when you're this long and just dumping off a little screen. Florida Atlantic was playing coverage, though, only rushed 3. And, you know, they like to talk about Florida Atlantic, how close it is to the beach. 1.8 miles to the beach. Feels like we're closer to the beach than UConn is to the first down marker here. And the Owls are probably going to drop back and only rush 3.
It used to say that on the field. 1.8 miles to the beach. Just in case you forgot, they're going to keep it safe. Edwards, oh, really got back to the original line of scrimmage. Good scamper there. UConn's going to be forced to punt for the first time this afternoon.
And Florida Atlantic loves to be aggressive in all 3 phases of the game, so look out for the Owls to come after this punt here and try and block it. And the guy to look for is number 3, Derek Rogers. He's blocked one already this year, and he's come very close to several others.
Connor Stutz, the UConn punter, senior from Seattle, 44.5 yards per punt this season. Stutz faced a little pressure late there. Good punt, spiraling. Oh, it's long in the back of the end zone there. A little too strong off the leg of Stutz in his first action today. Owls will have the football, chance to make it a 1-possession game on the other side. Always beautiful scenes here in Boca Raton. FAU and UConn. 2 games to finish the regular season here at Flagler Credit Union Stadium for the Owls. They need both for bowl eligibility. First play of the drive, Veldkamp, good toss to Jayshawn Platts, who secures a first down.
A nice read there by Veldkamp. UConn was cut flying up to play Messer, who came across on that motion. Platt slips behind him, gets wide open. Veldkamp sees it well.
For out of hand, this felt for a few moments. All of a sudden, the Owls with a positive drive here can make this a 1-score game. Settling into things here at home. Trips bunch to the near side. Veldkamp extends, hands to Sands, to the hashes. Flag flies out of the backfield, though.
Sands, the ball carrier, but there is a flag.
Based on where the flag is thrown, that's usually offensive holding.
Holding. Offense, number 62. 10-yard penalty. It's first down.
We get Okino King on the hold, backing FAU up.
62 on the left side there, or he's on the right side. King just grabbing the jersey. King playing left guard today, and the Owls have had some movement, been trying to find a guy at that spot. They had to bump Scarley Jean out to right tackle, so it's been Mauricio Hines or Okino King playing that left guard spot.
First and 20 at the 28. Veldkamp, quick outside or out to Messer to try to get a couple yards back.
And you never know if this is 4-down territory for Florida Atlantic. If they get it to a 4th and 4 or less, they could end up going for it on 4th down. So keep that in mind with the way that Zach Kitley may sequence his play calls here.
We've seen the Owls go for it plenty of times inside their own 40, 45. They've gone for it 55 times this season. That's 13 more than any other team in the country. 2nd and 16 after the gain of 4. UConn brings a linebacker. Veldkamp lofting it deep. Wide open man, complete to the 40. Assad Wasim got loose. Veldkamp took a shot.
UConn brought the blitz there. Amir Renowek, number 9, coming right through the left side of the line, just gets Veldkamp on the legs. He did a great job to stand in there and deliver an accurate ball, but that one hurt. He's hobbling a little bit.
Gain of 31. Quick draw, Sands puts his pads into the defender out to the 30-yard line. UConn still adjusting defensively as the Owls snap. Veldkamp right around the line of scrimmage. Dom Henry earning some extra yards.
Now take a look at that previous throw. Look at the shot that Veldkamp takes right on that right ankle, but throws a great ball. And what footwork there by Wasim to make the catch and get the feet in bounds. But that one hurt on Veldkamp, a guy who's battled shoulder issues all year long, has had to fight through some pain, and now he's got that right leg to deal with after taking a shot.
Ben Smiley, the player down for UConn. Yeah, the way Veldkamp's teammates were helping him up. Initially thought he got hit a little bit higher, but that's a tough tackle around the ankles when he was brought down. Looks to be okay. Smiley as well walking off. 6:09 to play here in the first half. Owls driving again. Patrick, we've got about 500 yards of combined offense between the two teams in the first half alone, still at the 6 minutes to play. Offensive showcase here.
I thought we would see some offense today. I didn't think we'd see quite this much, especially I didn't think we'd see 24 points from UConn in the first quarter. But we'll see if Florida Atlantic can come back and make it a game. This is a key drive right here that they need to finish in the end zone.
They've had drives stall, had to kick a field goal, and were denied on 4th and 1. Veldkamp to Messer again. Messer breaks a tackle. Hard to bring down, and Messer has FAU inside the red zone.
And how about that toughness from Easton Messer at 5'9", 190. He showed it on a long run against Tulane last week at breaking some tackles there.
Veldkamp, well, gadget plays, got to get it off. Tried to spike it into the ground, and that was nearly picked off. He threw it in the area of Platt.
And watch Easton Messer here after the catch, settling in the zone and then just breaking these tackles. You can't tackle him up high. He's strong enough to fight through that and get some extra yards.
Yeah, shook off the initial tackle of Malachi McLean, who had the interception on Veldkamp in the first quarter. A critical drive here in the waning moments of the first half.
Veldkamp changing the play at the line here. Now he's got to look at the defense.
Gets the snap off with 2 seconds left. Going to the fade in the end zone and overshot Assad Wasim. Now Zach Kitley, he has no problem with Veldkamp making those checks at the line. He says that's what I teach him to do. I'm happier if he makes a check for a touchdown than if I call a flea flicker for a touchdown.
That's what Kitley really wants, is Veldkamp getting them into the best plays possible at the line of scrimmage. And Kitley said about 4 or 5 times this year Veldkamp has checked a play that's turned into a touchdown. He really liked that matchup there with Wasim in the slot against the safety Brinson, but they couldn't connect.
That was a better throw. Very well could have been 6. UConn rushes 4. Veldkamp scrambles left. Veldkamp dashing. Veldkamp towards the pylon. Leaping! Veldkamp scoring! Oh! FAU's within a touchdown. "17 yards from Veldkamp, and FAU has come back within 1.
Veldkamp on the scramble. He's going to get a block out in front of him from his receiver right on the right side there, and then going airborne over the top of the safety and into the end zone. How about Caden Veldkamp at 6'6", 236 pounds, showing off the athleticism.
Officials once again taking a quick look to double check. Ball came out once he hit the ground, but certainly across the plane at that juncture. Yeah, call confirmed. What a run. Caden Veldkamp capping a 9-play, 80-yard drive. Took 3:08 off the clock. It's one of his most dynamic plays of the season. Smith connects on the PAT. Caden Veldkamp has brought Florida Atlantic back within a touchdown. This game is flipped on its head. 24-17. Patrick, we have a game. All of a sudden, 24-17. After a dynamic start from UConn, Veldkamp has led his Owls back within a touchdown. One of the plays of the season right here.
Oh man, Veldkamp, he's an athletic guy. Big dude, but super athletic. Just flipping over the top. Sticks the landing very nicely. His teammates love that one.
Plays like that will fire your team up very quickly. I mean, Zach Kittley said even despite the record and where we are in the season, I don't think I've seen a drop off at all in practice. We keep preaching all the little things. If you're not having fun playing football every day, what are you doing here? If you're not going to be tough in times like this, what are you doing here? Took a little bit to get his team going today, as this is brought out right to the 25. FAU eventually gets there. But now seeing some fight from his FAU squad. Now the defense will come out and maybe try to get Veldkamp and company one more offensive possession. But boy, Joe Fignano and UConn, or anything like they were in the first quarter, they'll extend this once more.
Yeah, only one drive today for UConn that has not ended in points, and it was the last one they just had. But Fignano's been real efficient, 10 of 14 for 212 and a couple scores. And the big thing about Fignano is he sees the field really well. And Jim Mora, head coach of UConn, learned from Bill Walsh, the legendary 49ers head coach, that the most important trait for a quarterback is good decision-making, and that's what he has in Joe Fignano.
Victor Rosa's first snaps at tailback, gets it out of the pistol look, rumbles forward. It's about 3 or 4 yards on first down. Victor Rosa, the redshirt junior out of Bristol, Connecticut. 28th carry of the season, has contributed a pair of touchdowns. Been in the program for a number of years now.
Bristol, the home of ESPN,
yes,
not too far from the UConn campus.
The mothership. 2nd and 5. He's got Terrence Smith back there with him, I think. No, it is Edwards. Fignano will throw. Good pitch and catch. Close to the 45-yard line. UConn utilizes their tight ends so well. But this one, man, I'm going to apologize right there. That's Nider again. He's hit the weight room.
He looks like a tight end.
All right?
He's got a tight end number. It could go either way, 80 tight end or wide receiver. But
right now.
He does a nice job right there, just with that dig route, getting in the soft spot of the zone. And Fignano just reads it so well. He's done it all day long.
I apologize, John. You're a wideout, and you scored already in this game, 24-17 UConn. Nider getting really involved. Less than 4 minutes to play, first half. Edwards, he's gonna throw. He's gonna run, slips the tackle. Edwards across midfield to the 45.
Yeah, Edwards was looking for the throwback to Fignano. Decided that wasn't gonna be a good idea. Makes something out of nothing with the broken tackle.
UConn moving the ball effectively here. No problem taking some time off the clock. They want this to be the final possession of the half. FAU will get the football out of the locker room.
Now the Huskies will vary their tempo. They can go fast when they want to, but sometimes they like to just slow it down and play the situation.
Leon Hart came off the sideline late there. Whistle blew, flag flew. Lengthy discussion about it here.
Legal substitution. Offense. More than 11. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Stephen Anderson, our referee this evening. That'll move UConn back 5.
And the Huskies just a problem with the procedure on the subbing there. They broke the huddle with 12 guys.
After the penalty, first down, 15 from the 50.
3:11 to play in the half. Bell wide to the near side of your screen. Owls bring a blitz from the edge. Fignano across the middle. That's complete to Hansen again. He's got a couple catches here in the first half. Flag back around where the throw was from Vignano. UConn's last drive was cut short by penalties.
Personal foul. Hands to the face. Defense, number 14. 15-yard penalty at the end of the play. First down.
Tycool Hill Lumen, usually he's in on third downs in the pass rushing package, but in on a first down there, and gets called for the hands to the face, number 14 on the right side. Just get hands up a little bit. Yeah, right there into the face mask of the left guard, Kyle Juergens there. Good call.
I was about to say, if they were getting him for the hands on Morawski, that
was a pretty quick one, but yeah, that second action there was pretty egregious.
56 yards so far on this drive. Flick to the far side. Hanson again, brought down by the ankles. 3 catches for Lewis Hanson this evening. The senior transferred in from Michigan.
Look at the right side, how these guys are flying in to play the run, and Vignano just dumps it out to the pass. Could have been a hold right there on Skylar Pell, blocking Therese Reed at corner, but it doesn't get called. UConn takes advantage.
Owls might have some legitimate contention with that lack of a flag. 2nd and 3. Rosa motions. Vignano scrambles right, running out of real estate. Shoved out of play. Josh Roberts there in time.
Oh, good job by Florida Atlantic there, not getting fooled by the tricky formation. UConn had a few offensive linemen lined up out wide.
And that'll bring us to the 2-minute timeout. This will be 3rd and 8 for UConn on the other side. Driving late first half. Well, this is the 25th season of FAU football. Still just a young program. All got started in 2001, but they got things rolling quickly by year 6. They were in a bowl game. They were Sun Belt champions. Legendary coach Howard Schnellenberger leading the way, and may not have gone their way against Slippery Rock in that first game, but 300 games later, They've achieved quite a bit. And really neat there between, during that last commercial break, Katrina McCormick, she's been a staff member here at FAU in the Media Relations Department for 34 years. She has been at every single FAU football game, all 300 of them. And the university doing a great job honoring her. Fignano out of the breaks, gonna tuck it. Brought down at the 12. Demarius McGee. Damon Allen getting in on the tackle to be 4th down.
Yeah, looking like UConn's going to wait and make a decision here on 4th and 1 if they want to go for it or not. And there's Katrina. We appreciate all her help helping us
fantastic.
out with all the stats and everything, getting us hooked up with the coaches. And 300 games here at Florida Atlantic. She has seen every single one of them. She's just a wealth of knowledge on this program.
The only staff member here at FAU to be at all 300. Really awesome to present her with that framed jersey. Can't do it without the help of the people behind the scenes.
And she didn't know it was coming either, because
no
otherwise
idea.
she would have said, no, I don't need that kind of recognition. So it's good that they surprised her with that. That's really cool.
So 4th and 1 here for UConn. Up a touchdown, less than 2 minutes to play.
Well, Huskies are going for it, and their bread and butter with their offensive coordinator, former O-line coach Gordon Samus, is the outside zone. They want to run it on the edge with Cam Edwards. That's what I'm looking for here.
Hansen in as a fullback. I formation. Fignano under center. Handoff. He got hit early, but the pile pushes forward. This will be a 1st down.
That's all about the toughness of Cam Edwards, and he got that one in the weight room in the offseason, doing those squats. That's why you do those heavy squats, so you can keep the legs driving with guys on top of you on plays like that.
Kamari Johnson made first contact. Edwards kept it moving.
Yeah, Edwards just doing everything he can, spinning around, driving the legs. Ben Morawski from the left tackle spot giving him a push.
1st and goal. Fignano to throw. Lofts it outside. Caught. Tripped up at the 5. Therese Reed on the tackle. Edwards in the backfield there. 2nd and goal.
Reed with a nice open field tackle there. Edwards is a tough guy to tackle one-on-one, especially when you're a corner. He's a bigger back that's got some toughness, but Reed cutting down the legs.
FAU taking their 2nd timeout, trying to secure one final possession. An opportunity for Caden Veldkamp, as it looks like UConn's going to at least put a couple points up on the board here in the first half.
And I was talking with look at the student section.
The takeovers come to Boca.
Taking the shirts off. That's become popular throughout the country in college football.
I need it to fill this section. There's room for improvement here.
Yeah, we need some more students out here.
That's a good start. That's a good start. Patrick, we could go out there and help him.
Yeah, Pat McAfee style.
I'm just kidding when I say that. I'm going to refrain. 2nd and goal. There's more people heading out there right now. Minute 23 to play. Bunch to the near side. Fignano. Across the middle, incomplete, batted down. In a tight window. Jaden Sweeney there to break it up. 3rd and goal.
Fignano really tried to squeeze that one in there. The Owls play in zone. A lot of bodies around the middle of the end zone. Good protection from the UConn O-line. Fignano just right over the hands of Kamari Johnson. Was almost a pick there. And then Sweeney able to get the hands on it. Right in the middle. Johnson just a missed opportunity. A lot of velocity on that throw. Tough to react at that range, but he's mad at himself.
Alex Honnigan on 3rd down. Chris Parker in on this play as well. Big defensive moment here for the Owls. Fignano's going to throw to the near side. Bell the catch. Bell brought down. What a tackle on 3rd and goal. And UConn's going to kick the field goal.
Lawrence Johnson making the stop in the open field. They tried to slip Bell out into the flat. using the motion to try to get him free, but Johnson does a good job following him the whole way, not getting caught in traffic, just grabbing the ankle and taking him down. That's a nice play.
Big tackle by Johnson. FAU takes their final timeout. That was the first catch by Skylar Bell since that injury in the first quarter. This drive stalling after 11 plays, 69 yards, 4 minutes off the clock.
And Florida Atlantic using all their timeouts to preserve that clock there, and the Owls still going to have plenty of time to go down and try and score themselves. And we'll see if Chris Freeman can add to this UConn lead.
Freeman connected on the first drive of the game from 39. Just a little more than a chip shot, 25 yards, just outside the left hash. Puts it through to make it 27-17. Freeman 2 for 2. So Skylar Bell, again, first play of the game, making an impact for 40 yards before the injury, but he's contributed today.
Bell, 3 catches for 76 yards on the day, was a big part of that early scoring run. He can do it after the catch. They like to get him going with some blockers out in front. He's got a great acceleration to break away from tacklers, but then on that injury right there, just kind of got banged up on, got cut down on the legs and had to sit out a couple drives. Has since come back in, not been quite as productive yet, but I'm sure they'll get him going in the second half.
27 first half points for UConn. They jumped out to a 24-3 lead. 312 yards of offense from the Huskies in the first half. But FAU's put up 265 yards themselves. Just had a couple drives in early. Also a Veldkamp interception. There's a little bit of time to operate with. Final minute 9 of the first half, but no timeouts to work with. Platt will have this sail over his head. FAU will start at the 25.
Florida Atlantic running the 2-minute drill or even the 1-minute drill in this situation is just like running their normal offense. They operate at that tempo all the time. They know what they're doing, and they'd really love to go to Easton Messer, number 8, their slot receiver, second in the country in receptions, but UConn's going to be keying on him as well, so Veldkamp may have to look elsewhere. He's got some playmakers in Wasim and Platt also.
Got to be so careful here. This is a team that has the worst turnover margin in college football. Have worked incredibly hard to make this a competitive game again. Do not want to spot UConn. A couple extra plays here at the end of the half with a poor throw. Veldkamp on first down. Quick outs. Wasim wrapped up. Only a couple of yards. Damon Brinson with the tackle.
And UConn's going to take a timeout here. I guess they're just wanting to talk about what they need to do defensively, and the Huskies, I mean, they could be trying to get the ball back as well to try to get one more score on the board. I mean, a decent gain there by Florida Atlantic, but perhaps Jim Moore is thinking, hey, I trust my defense here. If we can get a quick stop, we might want to put another one on the board.
If they force a 3 and out, they probably get the ball back around the their own 25 or 30 with 45 seconds or so to operate with. If it all went according to a normal script.
And UConn's not afraid to be aggressive in these situations either. I mean, 2-minute drill, sometimes teams will sit back and play zone, only rush 3, but the Huskies aren't afraid to bring some extra rushers and try to speed up the quarterback.
On second down, Veldkamp. Safe throw. Trying to get out of bounds. Shields Dutton does a good job. 57 seconds left to work with.
And with under 2 minutes to go, the clock stops to move the chains on a first down or if you get out of bounds.
UConn rushes 4. Veldkamp flustered. I mean, that was at the shoestrings of Shields Dutton that time. Second down.
UConn going with a twist up front. Just the The defensive end and defensive tackle kind of switching places after the snap, and Trent Jones is able to get in there and break that up, make Veldkamp throw it away. UConn 4th in the country in sacks, and they do not have one yet today, but they've pressured Veldkamp a couple times, put a couple hits on him.
He did not have one last week, but Air Force only threw 11 times. Check down, Sands will step out of play with 46 seconds left on the clock. Only got a yard or two.
Now, Zach Kitley, typically on these third downs, he could be operating under the idea of possibly going for it on 4th down. He's got his analytics book. He knows where the Owls need to get to in order to go for it on 4th down, and he takes that into account when he's making this 3rd down play call.
They need 9. Flags fly. UConn was stunting at the line. May have drawn some movement.
Call start. Offense, number 53. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Vincent Fiacable moved early.
The center, and when Diamande, the linebacker 32, kind of jumps up to the line of scrimmage, Fiacable just leans back just a little bit, and they get him for the false start. But Diamande did not come into the neutral zone. He was still where he needed to be, so that's why it's on the offense.
Veldkamp making a check at the line. See how this changes the calculus. 3rd and 14 now. Keep it safe on the handoff. Sands evading defenders. Got to the 41 before being driven to the ground. UConn calls their second timeout.
Caden Veldkamp really wanting to go for it. He's signaling to the sideline, like, come on, let's go. But I think after that penalty, Zach Kitley just said, hey, let's just hand it off here. If we break one and pick up the 1st down, then we'll go.
Well, if you go for it there and you don't get it, UConn has about 30 seconds and a timeout to just need 5 yards to be in field goal range.
Yeah, this is a tough one. 4th and 4 in your own territory. I think you just got to punt it away here and not let this game get out of hand before the 2nd half. There's the man, Zach Kitley, making the decision.
A reminder, coming up at halftime, we'll send you to Maria Tribal Peace in Studio A for some of the top plays and performances in the American over the past week. Owls punting here on 4th down. Jackson Harper back for the Huskies. There's Logan Lupo punting for FAU. Fair catch called for at the 15-yard line.
Fair catch by Jackson Harper.
1 timeout, own 15, veteran quarterback. Let's see how UConn decides to operate here.
I tend to lean on the side of let's be aggressive and let's go and try and put some points on the board. But, I mean, with a 10-point lead, UConn may say let's just hand it off, and if we break one, then maybe we'll go and try and score. But if not, we'll go to the yeah. But if you're gonna try and score here, you're going to Skylar Bell. 3 catches, 76 yards today. Came into the weekend leading the nation in touchdown catches and receptions overall.
Vignano's going to throw. It is Bell on the catch, and Bell is nearly to the 40-yard line. Huskies hustling.
And here we go. UConn trying to go down and score, being aggressive. Clock stops to move the chains. Got to keep an eye on Bell again down at the bottom of the screen.
And that second play call ready to go. Vignano, deep throw, middle of the field, incomplete. No flags. And we're targeting Raymelo Murphy.
Now Therese Reed with a good defense, and here's the Bell catch on the first play. Just a nice window into that zone and a good throw. And then the second play, Vignano just out of the reach. Great coverage there by Therese Reed. Just enough contact and diving to make that breakup.
Still with that timeout in their pocket.
A little discussion from the officials. Could be talking about that, what happened at the end of that play there. Was it pass interference or not?
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Offense. 15-yard penalty. The down counts. Second down.
Didn't catch who that was on, but UConn flagged for unsportsmanlike, and that might kill any efforts at stealing some extra points here.
Yeah, I'd say it does. And backing them up 15 yards, at this point, you just take a knee.
That was Tank Green, I heard, number 50, offensive lineman. And so UConn will just kneel it.
Green may have been on the sideline. He's typically a backup.
They had something going there. Love that they had the green light, but they'll take 27 first half points regardless. More than their total from last week against Air Force. FAU's made it a game though. 24-3 are thinking, uh-oh, Bull hopes are gone before the first quarter is over. The Owls will give themselves a chance. They're going to get the football out of the locker room as well. Keep that in mind. So 27-17 at the half. Savannah Collins is on the field with more.
Coach, you hold UConn on that drive, force them to kick a field goal, the one before that. What is it going to take to disrupt Vignano?
Yeah, I mean, we got to try to get some more pressure on him. I mean, he's been patting the ball back there. We've only got to hit him once or twice. Again, he's so good at getting the ball out of his hands and checking that thing off. So we've got to try to put more pressure on him. I mean, they've got over 300 yards of offense and 30 points at halftime. So we've got to come up, got to have a great second half plan here to come slow them down.
Your offense making adjustments there, particularly in the second quarter. What more of that would you like to see coming out of the locker room?
Yeah, we just got to execute. I mean, same thing. Our drives that we have not had success, we've had 4 self-inflicted wounds penalties, some huge false starts and huge holding penalties that take us back. It's hard to overcome those when you play a really good football team like UConn.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good thoughts from Coach Kitley there. Coach Savannah, thank you. 24-17, 27-17 at the half. UConn jumping out to the early 24-3 lead, up by 10 in their season finale. Owls, Huskies. More coming up. It's halftime here between the Connecticut Huskies and the Florida Atlantic Owls. Let's send you to Studio A and Maria Tribal Piece.
Welcome into Studio A. I'm Maria Tribal Piece. Championship season is still upon us, so we have some football in addition to a lot of soccer on this week's top plays. We'll begin with the football though, East Carolina and Memphis. Time is running out, but no problem for Caton Hauser because he has Peyton Mangrum in the end zone coming up with the catch. He's covered, doesn't care. Pirates win this one. Our next play comes from Charlotte. The 49ers have a man who is about to catch the ball right here by the name of Derek Ely, and he's very good at what he does. He dodges multiple defenders, then turns on the Jets. He runs this ball all the way to the end zone. More football for you, Navy and South Florida. Midshipman quarterback Blake Horvath looking for his favorite target in Eli Heidenreich. Can he find him? Yes, he can. Heidenreich with the one-handed grab. Nigel Van Haveren is the goalkeeper for FIU. Bops that ball away. We're going to see it again in just a moment. This is a game saver for the Panthers. They'd eventually go on to win this game in PKs. Jasmine Kessler is our #1 play, and you'll see why. Yes, that ball goes into the back of the net. Kessler can't believe it. She is the goalkeeper who made the kick, who made the shot. You'll see it again right here. Kessler scoring a goal for UTSA. If you see a top play this week, make sure you use the hashtag American Top Plays on social. Keep it right here. We have more coming up for you on ESPN+.
Welcome back to Boca Raton, Florida, on the campus of Florida Atlantic University. It's halftime between the Huskies and Owls. The American on ESPN Plus is home to over 40 college football games, 1,000 exclusive live events, and every American Conference championship throughout the season. For more information and to sign up, visit stream.espn.com. Now let's go rejoin Maria in Studio A.
Welcome into Studio A. I'm Maria Tribalpiece. The American announced their weekly award winners in football, volleyball, and men's and women's basketball. We honor those athletes in this week's American's Best. The freshman of the week in volleyball is Tulsa's Jill Hansen. Hansen hit an impressive .514 in a pair of wins over Temple and Tulane. She averaged 4.21 points and 3.43 kills per set, while also averaging 1 block per set. The women's basketball player of the week is UAB's Callie Smallwood. Smallwood led the Blazers to a pair of wins over Alabama A&M and Chattanooga. She averaged 20 points per game on 63% from the field and an impressive 75% from behind the arc on 9 of 12 shooting. The men's basketball player of the week is South Florida's Joseph Pinion. Pinion helped lead South Florida to a pair of victories last week by averaging 24 points and 3 rebounds. Against Coppin State on November 12th, the senior posted 24 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals, while at Kennesaw State on November 16th, Pinion added 24 more points, including 3 of 3 from three-point range. The offensive player of the week in football is North Texas's Caleb Hawkins. Hawkins tallied 5 rushing touchdowns in the 53-24 win over UAB, breaking the North Texas program record. His 16 rushing touchdowns is tied for the nation's lead. He carried the ball 27 times for 189 yards while adding 1 catch for 21 yards. For more on the weekly awards, you can visit our website at theamerican.org. Keep it right here. We have more coming up for you on ESPN Plus.
second half between the Connecticut Huskies and Florida Atlantic Owls is just moments away. Patrick, Savannah, and I will bring you first half highlights in the second half kickoff when we return. You're watching The American on ESPN. Halftime almost complete here in Boca Raton. UConn out to a 27-17 lead in their final game of the season. FAU playing for bowl eligibility. Welcome into Flagler Credit Union Stadium. That's Patrick Murray. I'm AJ Ricketts. What a fun, high-flying first half. Hey, by the way, record watch. Joe Fignano came in here, needed only about 500 yards to break the school record. He's on pace for that right now. FAU, despite the self-inflicted penalties in this game as well, that was a lot of fun in the first half.
Oh, man, a ton of fun. 274 yards for Fignano. He's been lighting it up. We might see him to get to 500 yards. Who knows? It could be a very fun second half. And Veltkamp can be right there with him. Florida Atlantic has the offensive firepower to come back in this game.
All right, during the half, Savannah Collins caught up with Coach Mora.
Mora was pleased with this defense. He talked about how the only thing he's really looking to do is get stops, get takeaways. And the offense, we've seen it be so balanced all season, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to continue to put points on the board. If it's coming from the passing game, they're going to continue to get yards and touchdowns. If the run is working, it's what they're going to go to. He seemed pleased with what they've done in the first half and going to try and keep that pace to finish out this game.
Thanks, Savannah. Yep, Jim Mora and UConn in good position right now. 2 quarters left in their regular season as this sails into the end zone for a touchback. Let's take a look at that first half. Plenty of highlights to show for it. UConn got going on the very first play, 40 yards, high-flying first half, nearly 350 yards of offense.
We'll get it to the nation's leading receiver on the first play of the game. Then John Nider going up top. Shamar Porter with some speed down the sideline. UConn had 24 points in that first quarter, the most all season. Alex Honig, the tight end, getting in on the action. Then the second quarter, Florida Atlantic coming back. Easton Messer, the wide receiver, they put him in the backfield, give him a little toss. That got the run game going for the Owls. They get back into it to make it 27-17.
Brought some life back into this FAU side. Down 24-3. Things were looking bleak. UConn scored touchdowns on 3 consecutive possessions. Outside the Messer, slips the first tackle. Messer brought down at the 40. 5th catch of the day for Easton Messer.
Now look at the stats there. UConn outgaining Florida Atlantic 334 to 287. Vignano lighting it up with 274 pass yards in that first half, and UConn's been holding the ball. Florida Atlantic has the 1 turnover to 0 for UConn, who never turns the ball over, apparently.
Incapable. 1st and 10. Veltkamp slings it. Caught by Wasim, who spins out of the tackle. Wasim across midfield. And that might have been a late hit, too, as Wasim was crunched out of play. Potentially another 15.
Now, broken tackles have been the theme of the first couple plays of this half, and Wasim just slipping out of that one. Just a one-handed arm tackle. And Wasim strong enough to fight through it.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense, late hit out of bounds. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Owls in great field position quickly after just 3 plays.
Just as he's going out of bounds, not much of a hit there from UConn, but they're going to get called for it. That's the corner, Devin Pringle. And I thought that one was kind of borderline. Not a whole lot of contact, and it was pretty close to the out-of-bounds line, the sideline.
Shields Dutton is the tailback. He'll get the handoff. Navigating B gap and swung down after a positive gain on first down. I think biggest points of emphasis there in that locker room conversation with Coach Kitley and this group.
Well, finishing drives is a big one. You can't get penalties or turnovers in this area of the field.
After the gain of 5, Veltkamp, watch out. He gets brought down. UConn first sack of the game. Donovan Branch in the backfield. Huskies top 5 in the country in that department. They finally get to Veltkamp.
Yeah, first sack of the day there for UConn. Coming from the right side, Branch just with the strength, the rip move to fight through Scarlett Jean there. And Veltkamp recognized he had nowhere to go, just goes down.
He's playing with a broken finger. He said, I'm going to wait till the offseason to deal with this. Tough linebacker. 10-point lead here for UConn. 3rd down and long. Owls need 15. Huskies rush 4. Wasim another catch. Gets this within the 30.
I bet they'll go for it here. They may line up quick.
This would be a long field goal, and the offense is staying on the field. Owls 0 for 1 on 4th down. Quick snap. Veltkamp. End zone shot. Far sideline to Platt. Flag flies. He made the catch despite pass interference. Let's see how this is ruled here.
Defense, number 2. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Oh, no, that came to the ground. Missed that. Incomplete, but it's a first down.
Yeah, Pringle just grabbing on him with the right hand on the shoulder pad. And the official's right there at the goal line to see it, throws the flag. And Florida Atlantic catching a break there on 4th down. That's why they stayed aggressive. Veltkamp wanted to snap that ball as quick as possible.
Yeah, that would have been far too reserved a celebration for a one-handed grab of that nature. First down. Screen. Messer. Shoulder down at the 11.
Well, Florida Atlantic really worked on red zone a lot this week in practice, wanting to be more physical down in this area of the field.
Messer to throw near side. Veltkamp, excuse me, trying to find Messer. Lee Millette's in coverage. Quickly, third down.
And 3rd and 6 here. You got to watch out for UConn's pressure package. They're going to show 6 or 7 at the line of scrimmage, and Florida Atlantic wants to get the ball out quickly to the perimeter to try and beat it.
Owls have struggled to score touchdowns in the red zone. Touchdown efficiency among the lowest in the American. Trips right, 3rd and 6. Veltkamp hands off, there's space to run. Touchdown, FAU. Caden Shields Dutton scores, and the Owls can pull within 3.
And that's a key drive for Florida Atlantic, starting off the second half in the end zone. Just a little draw play, getting some blocks. Okino King sealing that hole for Caden Shields Dutton, breaking the tackle to get to the end zone.
FAU has rallied back. It was 24-3. They've outscored the Huskies 21-3 since. Caden Shields Dutton getting the handoff, finding the end zone. We've got a game in Boca.
Florida Atlantic cuts the lead to 3. Great play call by Zach Kitley on 3rd down. UConn's thinking pass. Look at the defensive end on the bottom hash. He's flying up the field trying to rush the passer. That's why you call the draw play. Big hole opens up because of that pass rush. Florida Atlantic takes advantage. Caden Shields Dutton getting in the end zone and cutting the UConn lead to 3 points.
It's back-to-back games now for Caden Shields Dutton finding the end zone. sophomore from Orlando. 54 yards last week. Had a really nice day against Tulsa. Trying to be a big part of this run game, which has had its struggles this year, but making an impact in the red zone there. 27-24. Looks like UConn was going to run away with this and secure win number 9 with ease and in style. FAU has had other ideas since then.
And a great job by Caden Veltkamp on that play, too, at the line of scrimmage, seeing where the potential hole would be, flipping his running back, Caden Shields-Dutton, to the other side, and helping him get to that opening. Veltkamp's done a really nice job this year of learning Zach Kitley's system and how he wants him to switch different little things, little details like that at the line of scrimmage.
Andrew Nelms to kick off. Mel Brown back to receive. Another touchback here. All right, Joe Fignano, an incredibly efficient and productive first half. 16 for 22, 274 yards. All four of their first 4 drives all ended in points. 3 of those touchdowns. Trying to get things going here. Positive start to the second half.
Fignano, the 7th-year senior. UConn with 8 wins, looking for number 9. They are bowl eligible, but they're not in a conference, so they're going to have to wait and see how things fall in terms of the bowl ties on which bowl game they could potentially get into.
Yeah, a lot of players have their flights, travels home for Thanksgiving scheduled right after this game as Mel Brown darts to the outside. About 5 yards on first down for Mel Brown.
Good to see Brown back in the game. Hasn't played for several weeks since back in September. The senior running back for UConn out of Stone Mountain, Georgia.
That was his 6th carry. Edwards has 7, splitting the backfield workload.
Edwards has been more productive on the day, averaging almost 9 yards a carry.
On 2nd and 6. Fignano to the flats. Brown with the catch. Leon Hart couldn't wrap him up. That will lead to a first down.
A missed chance there for Hart, and Florida Atlantic could have had UConn in a 3rd and long, but it's about the pad level here from Brown. Just staying low. He slips, but able to regain the footing and just stay low underneath of Hart's tackle and fight through for the first down. Nice balance there by Brown.
That left knee almost touching the grass. Stayed up, first down. 4 minutes into the 3rd quarter, first UConn drive of the half. UConn run blitz. Brown into a number of defenders.
And that's the outside zone play that UConn loves. Gordon Samus, the offensive coordinator, has a sign in his meeting room that says, if you don't like outside zone, you don't belong here. That is such a cornerstone of their offense.
They embrace outside zone in Stores in East Hartford. 2nd and 8. After Harper motions, the play action, pressure coming, they get to Fignano. Owls wrap him up. That pocket collapsed quickly. Najon Barber celebrating there, 3rd down.
And Bryce Langston helping out too. Coming from the right side, Barber's going right up the middle there, just fights around the card to make the stop. And Bryce Langston playing defensive end today. Number 7 on the left side, he helps clean it up. Langston, usually a defensive tackle. They moved him outside to end today to try to help get a little more pressure, a little bit of a bigger body in there to help against the run, too, on early downs.
2nd time the Owls have gotten to Fignano. Huskies need 17. Fignano stepping forward. Doesn't get much.
Now Marcellin cleaning it up there. There was a big hole up the middle. The Owls didn't quite stay in their lanes. Fignano tried to take advantage with nobody open downfield, but Marcellin with great pursuit there to clean it up. And that is a huge stop for Florida Atlantic. I mean, coming out to start this second half, just grabbing the momentum by going down and scoring a touchdown, cutting the lead to 3. Now they're going to come after this punt here and see if they can block it.
You take away that final quick drive for UConn. The FAU defense has forced punts on 2 of the last 3 drives, but what a punt this one was. All the way down to the 1. Connor Stutz pinning FAU deep. Field position flip, but the Owls still feeling good. The D-line doing work. Owls down 3. The Owls believe. The students are fired up. They were down 24-3. And they're right back in this, Pat.
The last time we were here, they had that owl statue, remember?
Yeah,
they
where
had
is
like
that?
They had a big owl with like a skull at the bottom. There it is.
There it is.
Captain America with the owl statue.
I still don't understand the statue at all. And why the skull is there. I need answers.
I like it, though.
Difficult spot here for FAU starting at their 1. Just trying to get a little breathing room. And Sands slips forward, but does get a couple of yards there. What a punt by Stutz, by the way.
Yeah, he really boomed that one. That was a dangerous play for Florida Atlantic.
Second down.
Keeping it on the ground, searching for any sort of space. UConn may very well get the ball right back here around midfield.
And for Florida Atlantic here, you're really just looking to avoid a catastrophic mistake. And UConn has at least flipped the field and gotten themselves some field position. Defense is trying to get it right back to the offense with good field positions.
67-yard punt by Stutz.
You got to watch out for Brian Parham here, number 6, linebacker at the top.
Whistles blow it dead on 3rd and 5. .43 to play here in the 3rd. This will be procedural.
Ball start. Offense, number 53. After this is the goal, 3rd down.
Now the center, Vincent Fiacable again, that's his 2nd one today, and both times it seemed like it was because of the movement of the linebackers, and he's trying to get ready to pick up a potential blitz, and he kind of leans backwards a little bit and gets called for the false start.
Delkamp throws halfway in his own end zone, slant route. That's complete to Wasim at the 10. It's a yard short of the sticks. Tackle Brinson.
Well, Kinley might go for it here. He's got the offense on the field. That was real close, and they're going to go.
4th and 1.
They're at least going to try to draw UConn offside.
They surely don't go for it here.
This would be wild if he goes for it. Own 10-yard line.
But you don't want to call timeout here as well. They're going for it on 4th and 1. Slant around. Oh! It's going to go for points! Are you kidding? Dom Henry! What a call! What a play! 90 yards! And Florida Atlantic leads! Stunning!
How about the guts on Zach Kitley? 4th and 1 from your own 10-yard line. He goes for it. They throw it and score a touchdown. A little pick play against man coverage. A rub route. Henry gets open and nobody in front of him. To the house.
Zach Kitley has the guts. Wow, 90 yards. Who goes for it on their own 10? Zach Kitley does.
Wow. You know, I wonder, Kitley typically goes by the book, but sometimes he goes with the gut feel. I'd like to know what the book said on that one.
No book says go for it. None. Zach Kitley doesn't care. Dom Henry scoring points. FAU is in the lead after trailing by 21. We got a game in Boca Raton. It's the 3rd longest passing play of this in FAU history. Patrick, how does it happen?
4th and 1 from the 10. They go for it. And watch how UConn has no safety in the middle of the field. They bring the blitz. No safety in the middle of the field. That's why after the catch, Henry's able to go to the end zone. Now watch the pick. Easton Messer from the slot. He gets a little rub route there on the corner. Chadwick, that allowed Henry to get open. and then he takes it all the way to the house to give Florida Atlantic the lead. What a gutsy call from Zach Kitley, 4th and 1 on their own 10-yard line.
Well, Patrick, as they were lining up on that 4th and 1, obviously we're both thinking there's no way, but you think about the other two things that could have then happened there as this goes into the end zone for a touchback. You don't want to burn one of your 3 timeouts this early, and you'll see delay of games taken around midfield to give the punter space. Those would have been 5 valuable yards there. So you put those two together, you don't want those to happen, so you think he might actually go for this.
You're going to line up and go for it, and then I guess you're not going to just try and draw him off in that situation. But, man, Zach Kitley, probably the most aggressive coach in the country. I think he's got to wear that crown right now. And you look at the first half against the second half here. UConn 334 yards in the first half, just 7 here in this second half.
UConn has been knocked back. What a counterpunch from FAU. Vignano to Bell, scampering forward for 6 yards. I would love to know how many coaches have gone for it, not even inside their own 10, their own 20, not in the 4th quarter this season. That'd be a
yeah. I mean that
could probably count on one hand.
That may be the only one.
Vignano across the middle, big hit delivered. That was caught, but punishment taken. Chris Keys Jr. in on the tackle.
Keys had a big interception a couple weeks ago here at home against Tulsa for Florida Atlantic. And with a big hit there, he'll save that one for the highlight reel. But it's a first down for the Huskies.
Under 6 to play in the 3rd quarter. FAU leads. Handoff. Bell fighting for 5 yards. Excuse me, Edwards.
Cam Edwards and Skylar Bell for UConn, both over 1,000 yards on the season. The first 1,000-yard duo for UConn since 1988. This offense has been humming all year long, but Florida Atlantic has been able to slow them down so far in this second half and give the Owls offense a chance to retake the lead.
Punted on their only second half possession. Vignano to the outside. That's caught by Terrence Smith, who's whipped down inside the 45.
A nice route there by Smith. He's got a lot of speed, short area quickness, just busting that one back to the outside and moving the sticks. And UConn's ready to retake the lead themselves. They're driving.
I love using Smith on gadget plays, fly sweeps, reverses. It's a pretty good job as a standard wide out there. 1st and 10.
Haven't seen much of Juice Vereen today for UConn. Their tight end / wide out that they like to use a lot in the red zone.
Yeah, he didn't play last week. He has 4 straight games with a touchdown in games he has played. UConn pile drives forward for 3 yards here.
And we were expecting UConn to be mostly healthy today. They got Mel Brown back. That was the big injury news.
How has FAU adjusted? Again, punts forced on 2 of the last 3 UConn drives. What have you seen since the early UConn onslaught?
I think they've done a better job on first down of not letting UConn get into those 2nd and 3rd and manageables, stopping the run on first down and getting into better situations later in the series.
Edwards, the motion man. He'll take the pass. Scampering for an extra couple of yards. Dynamic play by Edwards.
And that's what we're talking about right there. It was a 2nd and long, and Edwards making that play, able to get it into a manageable situation here and actually picks up the first down there for UConn.
UConn moving the football down to the 35 now. 6 plays, 40 yards on this drive. Vignano fakes it. Caught far side. And an extra couple yards from Lewis Hanson's had a very productive day in the receiving game. 4th catch today. That's 2nd among UConn wideouts.
UConn faking the screen there and then just going up the field with it, faking the block.
Quickly to the line. UConn with tempo. This is Bell inside the 20.
That's probably going to be holding there on UConn, on Shamar Porter.
Holding. Offense, number 5. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Porter with the holds. There's the catch by Hansen.
And they pump the screen. Hansen fakes like he's blocking, then goes up the field, makes the grab, and picks up that first down. And they try to go screen the other way to Bell, but on the right side there, Porter just grabbing hold of the jersey of Johnson, the corner, not letting him get outside to Bell. That'll back up the Huskies.
UConn got away with that hold earlier in the game. We saw towards the end of the first half. Not that time. 1st and 20. Pistol look. Play action. Nicely designed play. This is Edwards. Green grass. Shimmies. And taken down inside the 5. Great play design there. Edwards out of the backfield has UConn on the move.
At the play action and then tossing it right back to Edwards on the screen after you get the defense flowing up the field.
Gain of 29. They go back to Edwards to the goal line, and Cam Edwards puts UConn back in front. What a counterpunch from the Huskies.
Big drive there for UConn. Going right back down the field, taking the lead right back from Florida Atlantic. That was key to squash some of that momentum from the outs. Here's the screen, just faking it. The defense trying to figure out where it's going, and Edwards is all by himself there on the outside. Almost gets in the end zone, and then the next play, Edwards punching it in behind his big O-line.
9 plays, 75 yards, 4:39 off the clock. PAT here from Freeman. Perfect. Back and forth we go. UConn leads 34-31. That was a really fun conversation with Jim Moore earlier in the week, and Savannah asked him if he's had any moment this year where he's kind of just, stopped to take this all in and reflect, and on the run they're on, he flatly said, no, but took a moment to thought and said, you know what? I love our band. Said our band is cool. My wife always brags about them. There's a band in the NFL. Savannah has more.
Told us that he asked the band director if he could come out to practice on Thursday. He said sun's going down, it's 30 degrees, wind is blowing, and those kids were out there practicing their tails off just like his team does. And what really stood out is after he chatted with them, he's on his way out and he hears one of the instructors say, hey, practice like you're gonna play on Saturday. And he goes, man, that's another coach just like me. He has so much respect for them. It's one of the things he loves about college football and he missed when he was coaching in the NFL. So he gave so much love to the UConn band and the way they add to the atmosphere on campus.
Yeah, really awesome story. He said maybe at the end of the season we'll reflect a little bit more, just too focused on the mission, but just really enjoy that day at band practice. Love that.
Yeah, that's always cool to the head coach getting to reach out to the rest of the community that supports the football team.
Just walking over from the house, taking in a little band practice. Band's not here today. They would have liked that last touchdown drive. Puts UConn back out in front, but FAU has made this a game again. They could have very easily wilted the way things progressed in that first quarter.
And Caden Veltkamp all of a sudden's got 325 passing yards today on 28 of 36. Couple touchdowns, had that one pick. One of those touchdowns was the rushing touchdown where he flipped over into the end zone.
On 1st and 10, pitch play outside the hashes. That's a good gain on 1st down. Got 10 from Caden Shields-Dutton, who just scored the touchdown. Now is quickly to the line. This time Messer out of the backfield. Not as successful, does get a couple of yards.
Now, Florida Atlantic typically an inside run team, but they're trying to get it going on the perimeter here. The traditional run game has struggled today up the middle, but now they're trying to get it going on the outside.
That Kitley has talked about trying to simplify some of those air raid run game concepts through the season. Messer, his teammate missed the block. That's going to lead to a tackle in the backfield. Damon Brinson, great job defensively.
Brinson from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, just down the road, 20, 30 minutes away. Went to Dillard High School. A really nice play there to diagnose that screen and blow it up.
Third down, 11 from the 34.
Owls need 11.
Well, that hard count there, good job by Veldkamp to see what UConn was going to do. And now the Huskies are changing up their defensive call.
They'll rush 4. Veldkamp, back shoulder throw. Henry, who had the 90-yard touchdown reception on the last drive, brings the Owls to midfield.
A great pre-snap procedure there by Veldkamp to get the Huskies out of their blitz call, and then recognizing the cushion that Henry had on the outside and taking advantage with a nice anticipation throw.
5th grab by Henry. Veldkamp swings it wide. Long throw. Brinson closing the gap again. It's Platt that time. Dom Henry, 5 catches, 137 yards now.
Yeah, that 90-yarder really helped him on 4th and 1.
Well, they pass it back to Veldkamp here. Trick play. Veldkamp on the crosser. Wasim has it at the 40. And a flag thrown late.
And Wasim is hurt. He was grabbing at his hamstring.
Got the trick play, the first down, the flag, and Wasim needing a little extra time.
Zach Kitley, one of the most creative play callers in the country. He's been fun to watch tonight.
The result of the play is the first down. There is no foul on the play. That's the end of the third quarter.
Oh, what a game we have as we enter the 4th. UConn 3-point lead, but Zach Kitley, this FAU side, are having some fun right now. Running trick plays, fighting back from a 21-point deficit. Owls and the Huskies onto the 4th.
College Football Playoff begins December 19th and concludes with the National Championship January 19th on ESPN.
Closing in on the college football playoff here in Boca Raton. UConn and FAU set to begin the fourth quarter. E.J. Ricketts, Patrick Murray, Savannah Collins, 34-31. FAU the football here. 1st and 10 at the 40 of UConn. Feldkamp check it down over the defensive line there, out of the reach of Caden Shields Dutton. What a game this has been. Felt like it might be blowout city in the first quarter. FAU has showed some fight, some resolve. Have a chance to take the lead again here.
Oh man, this has been so much fun. Both of these quarterbacks going back and forth. Fagnano and Feldkamp both right around 350 passing yards.
Two quarterbacks dueling right now. Shields Dutton, strong carry. Near the first down line. Shields Dutton starting to have a strong second half. Feldkamp and Fagnano felt you might get a good one today, and the pair have delivered, to say the least.
357 for Fagnano, 347 for Feldkamp. 5 touchdowns between them. Feldkamp's got 1 rushing, and man, these two have been fun to watch. Fagnano, the 7th-year senior. Feldkamp, a redshirt junior, transfer from Western Kentucky, lighting it up today.
You would have thought that a second-team all-conference player at Maine in 2020 would be putting up these kind of numbers 5 years later for the UConn Huskies as part of a resurgence in this program under Jim Moore.
And Fagnano's getting some looks from NFL scouts now as well. He could end up being maybe a free agent type of guy, or back into the draft. And Feldkamp, we could be talking about him the same way next year. You expect him to come back for another year to play for Zach Kittley in this offense again.
Savannah has more about Coach Kittley and his quarterback.
In the second half is the quarterback autonomy on full display, and that's intentional with this team. Coach says, you know, I think I'm a pretty good play caller, but I'm not perfect. And Caden has checked a handful of touchdowns this year. That gets him more excited than something cool like a flea flicker. He said, that's when I know I'm really doing my job, when he's making decisions, because I've taught him that, and they're going to need that trust to come through in this final quarter.
A lot of trust between Kittley and his quarterback. 3rd down and 2 here. 3-point FAU deficit. On the ground, Shields Dutton. He has enough to move the chains.
A run-pass option there for Feldkamp, letting him read it after the snap. Hands it off, and Scarlett Jean made a really nice block from right tackle. Really smart guy for Florida Atlantic 66 there. He wants to be a doctor, wants to be an orthopedic surgeon. Made a nice block to give the Owls the first down there.
Fresh set of downs at the 29 for FAU. Shields Dutton, they fumbled the football. Ball's loose. UConn thinks they have it. Jones, they do. It's UConn football. What a costly turnover. It's hurt FAU all season long. Trent Jones fell on top, and UConn has possession.
It's a run-pass option. Feldkamp's trying to decide there if he's going to pull it or if he's going to leave it in the belly, and just a little bit too loose with the football. And Shields Dutton doesn't get a hold of it. And Trent Jones doing a great job to jump on top of it. Zach Kittley can't believe it. It's like, what are you doing, guys? Like, the ball was the main thing, was all 3 keys for Zach Kittley this week. The ball, the ball, the ball. Florida Atlantic last in the country in turnover margin, and it bites them here.
It is a frustrating, familiar script for FAU as Mel Brown fights outside for a yard. -3 turnover margin last week in the 11-point loss at Tulane. Had a number of interceptions in their 10-point loss at FIU earlier this season. Now -2 turnover margin today against the UConn side. They came in winners 7 of 8. Even with those giveaways, FAU within 3. Costly right there. Yano on 2nd and 9. Delivers, caught, first down. UConn moving the football. Alex Honig with the reception.
Vignano has been so good all year long. And when everything's covered up deep, your deep shot's not there, just find somebody in the little soft spot of the zone and move the chains.
Huskies with tempo. Vignano flushed. Throwing on the run. Flag flies. It's caught to Terrence Smith on the outside. Holds might bring this back on the play. The area where the flag was thrown.
Holding. Offense, number 78. 10-yard penalty. First down.
That's Karsten Cassidy. His coaching staff has really admired this year. He was a backup last season. Makes a mistake there.
Left side of the screen, the right tackle, working on Josh Roberts. Had a beat to the inside, just takes him to the ground. And that's the holding call right there to negate a big play for the Huskies.
So 1st and 20 at their own 32. Bring Bell into the backfield. Vignano dumps it off to Brown and completes. Short-armed it. 2nd and 20.
The Florida Atlantic's defense has a great chance here to get off the field, play complimentary football, get it right back to the offense after the mistake and the turnover from Belkamp and Shields-Dutton. And the Owls have gone to a bare front here defensively, getting 5 guys on the line of scrimmage to try and clog up those running lanes for the Huskies.
Just the third second half drive here for UConn. Punt and a touchdown on their first 2. Fake to Brown. Nice delivery to the middle of the fields, and Honig or Hansen off defenders to the 50.
A big time play there by Hansen to break those couple of tackles. And from a 2nd and really long, now a 3rd short, 3rd medium for UConn. Much better chance to convert here.
2 for 7 on 3rd downs today. Huskies need 4. Couple minutes into this 4th quarter.
Bell in the slot at the top of the screen.
Empty backfield now. Vignano outside, complete to Bell. 1st down, Huskies.
A good pre-snap recognition there by Vignano. Seeing Bell in a one-on-one matchup. The defender's playing inside leverage, so that out route's going to be open all day. They clear it out with the outside wide receiver and let Bell go to work. The top receiver in the country in terms of receptions moves the chains.
The Biletnikoff Award semifinalists with his 6th catch for 112 yards today. 1st and 10, 4 minutes into the 4th. Vignano approaching 400 passing yards. Another completion to Bell. To the outside and out of play onto the FAU sideline.
And Hansen had the big catch on 2nd and long. Gets a nice block there, doing everything for the Huskies to help Bell pick up a good gain.
Vignano getting ever closer to Dan Orlovsky's single-season passing record.
398 yards on the day for Vignano. He needed 488 coming into the game.
It's a possibility. Flag flies. False start on Wes Ho there. UConn center, 2nd down and 9.
Well, the Huskies were able to overcome the previous penalty on this drive. That holding penalty that had them way behind the sticks. They overcame that to pick up the 1st down. See if they can do the same here.
Difficult snap. Vignano handles. Shaking off the 1st tackle. Brown bouncing outside. Mel Brown inside the 20 to the 10. Oh, he cuts back. Touchdown, UConn. What a run.
Mel Brown in his 1st game back from injury. Hasn't played since September. What a fantastic run there. That was all about the vision to see the cutback lane. Cuts it all the way back, breaks a tackle, and then shows off the moves in the open field.
Look who's back. Number 7 goes for 44. UConn back to a 2-score lead. How good must that feel for that young man right now? It has been a minute. He's seen all the success, all the winning, desperately wanting to be a part of it. Scampering to the end zone. Big time TD, and the Huskies are back up 10. UConn is on the precipice. Those back-to-back 9-win seasons, perhaps just 10 minutes away. Let's send it down to the sideline to Savannah Collins with more.
Well, what we're seeing right now from UConn is what Coach talked to me about at the half, that it's really how you can get things done. And the meaning of balance to him is not you run it 50% of the time and you throw it 50% of the time. It means you have to throw to win the ball game. That's what you're going to do effectively. If you got to run it to win it, it's what you're going to do too. In the first half, we saw them 3 touchdowns in the air. Here in the second half, 2 on the ground. Patrick, AJ, when you're looking at them doing that, what makes that so tough to defend as an offense?
Pat, you're the analyst here. Go first.
Well, you never know defensively, what they're going to do. I mean, we were talking to defensive coordinator Brett Dewhurst, and he was talking about trying to prepare for UConn on third downs. And he was like, even on third and medium, third and long, they can run the ball and pick up a first down on you. So you got to be ready for anything. So it makes it tough on a defensive coordinator.
You go up against a 1,000-yard rusher, 1,000-yard receiver. Pick your poison sometimes, and both have been dynamic. Look, it's a different field than last year when UConn ran for a school record on FAU, and it's a much different situation, of course, for the Owls after Tom Herman was let go. Hasn't been the same kind of run game. They haven't needed it to be. 1st and 10, just over 10 minutes to play. Beltkamp takes his check down. Jamari Sands ended up going backwards a yard or 2.
Well, let's see what kind of fire Florida Atlantic comes out with here. I mean, they were down 24-3 in the first quarter, came all the way back to take the lead. Now UConn has taken that punch and counter punch back. How does Florida Atlantic answer?
Throw is wide of Jayshon Platt, setting up a 3rd and 8. Owls don't necessarily need a touchdown here. 3 points can certainly do the job on this possession. Possession starting to whittle down. Can certainly use something at this point.
Now we've seen Zach Kitley go for it on 4th down from his own 10-yard line, so this could be 4-down territory right here. They could even run it here on 3rd down.
Quick screen. Wasim navigating past the 35, and that'll get the job done. Nice screenplay for Assad Wasim, who was in the Colorado program. Deion Sanders spoke very highly of him after he entered the portal. Man down here for UConn, it's Marquise Black.
And that's what Zach Kitley, those type of screen passes on the perimeter, that's what he came up with as the counter to UConn's mug front. When they bring 6 and 7 up to the line of scrimmage, look at all those guys on the line of scrimmage, and then they drop out and they try to get back to the middle of the field. Well, Kitley said, we're going to hit them on the perimeter with quick throws to our receivers, try to get our offensive line, move the football to where we can get numbers on the perimeter, and it worked for the Owls that time to pick up the first down.
Well, Sean had 11 catches last week. He's got 11 for a buck plus, 102 yards today as Black is helped up. One thing's for sure, the Owls cannot turn it over for the third time today on this drive.
Yeah, 2 costly turnovers for Florida Atlantic today, particularly that fumble on the previous drive when they were getting close into scoring range and flipped it over to UConn.
In motion, Sands wide. Beltkamp, slant route to Messer across midfield. Easton Messer angling up and near the 45.
Now, Easton Messer says he patterns his game after Julian Edelman, the former New England Patriot. Looked like him right there, operating smoothly in the slot.
Beltkamp and Messer. That's been the connection all season long for FAU. 4 touchdowns the last 2 games for Messer. Sands bouncing, shaking off a defender, but help comes quickly. Jamon Brinson shuts that down.
Now, Florida Atlantic has been spreading the love offensively. A couple different receivers with 100 yards, a couple different running backs getting in the action.
Owls taking what's given to him right now. Wasim, another catch on the drive. That'll move the chains.
Now, 12 catches on the day now for Assad Wasim. He was their most improved receiver from the spring till through the fall, and he's really emerged as a playmaker for them this year.
Wasim's kind of functioning as their own Skylar Bell the last 2 games. 23 catches now. Veltkamp throwing on the run. Well, actually, Messer had all sorts of space. Just a misconnect.
Veltkamp just threw that one off balance and rushed it a little bit too much. He had a whole lot of space around Messer if he had time to plant his feet and throw a strike there, but coming right at you into the living room, just way too high for Messer. There it is, right in your lap. We thank you to Caleb there, our cameraman out there, taking one for the team, showing the toughness.
Second down and 10. Beltkamp flushed, so he's losing his balance. Stayed on his feet enough to throw that play. Beltkamp's at 386 yards. That's a career high.
Beltkamp was able to prevent a really disastrous play there, and pressure coming up the middle. Just slips a little bit. Diamante's right there on him, making him throw it away.
Right on the edge of field goal range here as well. Interesting play call to come. 8:04 to go in the 4th. Quickly to the outside. Messer snares, but locked up quickly. Jamon Brinson took him down. It's a loss on the play.
That's going to be a long field goal. I mean, really nice job by Brinson of fighting off of that block from Wasim and just wrapping up Messer. They're going for it.
The field goal unit stays on the bench. 4th and 11. The Owls just had that miraculous 4th down conversion, 90 yards, but that was 4th and 1.
I don't think you want to burn a timeout here trying to draw them offside. I think they got to go for it.
Beltkamp, they need 11. Taking a shot across the top, open man! Messer! He dropped it in the bucket. Owls are right back. 3 yards to Messer.
What a clutch throw from Veldkamp. Good protection by the O-line on the sim pressure, and then just throwing it in between 3 defenders. Veldkamp to his best friend, Easton Messer, to keep Florida Atlantic in this game.
Second touchdown from Messer today, and every time it feels like UConn's got this thing under control, Florida Atlantic has other ideas. That'll make it a 3-point game. FAU's favorite connection strikes again, Pat.
2 touchdown passes today for Veldkamp, both of them on 4th down. Finding the best friend, Easton Messer, in the end zone. We got a ball game. UConn up late.
Right after UConn went up 10, FAU puts together a 10-play, 75-yard drive, capped by the 4th down touchdown to Easton Messer, who's having himself a day.
Now Messer, the transfer from Western Kentucky, 2nd leading receiver in the nation. They've even tossed him the ball out of the backfield today. He's gotten it done on the ground and through the air. He's broken some tackles with the yards after the catch. Over 100 total yards for Messer, 90 receiving, and the touchdown on the last drive to pull Florida Atlantic within 3.
Owls with a pair of 100-yard receivers. They did that at the end of September. Don't think the Owls have ever had 3 100-yard receivers. If Messer gets 10 more yards, they will have that today.
Kickoff is
into the end zone for a touchback. 10 catches, 90 yards. Pair of touchdowns from Easton Messer. It's been another high-profile day for the transfer from Western Kentucky. Savannah has more.
Need that. The first day for Easton on Western Kentucky's campus. First person he shook hands with and said, "Hey, I'm Easton." That was Caden. They've been on this journey together. Coach Kitley said those two are tied at the hip. They're roommates. They're probably going to be each other's best man at their weddings. But for right now on this football field, the way they communicate and that they're able to adjust together is incredible. They finish one another's sentences, and it's why they get better as a game progresses.
I'll tell you what, Savannah, ardent supporters of the Owls here in Boca Raton are already looking forward and hoping analyzing, hey, what if we get these guys back here next year to run it back one more time? What can our offense be capable of these two one more year together?
There's certainly going to be some teams out there that are going to try to poke around, see if they could get one of those guys to enter the portal. But Zach Kittley and his offense, his relationship with these players, he's got a good chance to keep them as well.
Caden Veltkamp's dad was strength and conditioning coach at Western Kentucky. The play clock on the field is not functioning. The officials are going to handle those duties the rest of the way until they get things fixed.
And that's going to make it a little bit tough on Fignano when UConn could be in a situation where they want to run some clock. He wants to make sure he can get the play clock down as close to 0 as possible. But I still think UConn needs to be aggressive in this situation with 7 minutes still left in the game, up by 3. They've thrown the ball so well today, they got to go try and score again.
FAU has to limit UConn to at least a field goal to realistically keep these bowl hopes alive here. They need a win against UConn today.
Can you put
East Carolina next week.
On the play clock and leave it at 0?
And the officials still trying to get the play clock how they want it. They're telling them to leave it at 0. Fignano at 398 passing yards. He's been efficient today, and it's going to be tough for Florida Atlantic to hold the Huskies to just a field goal, but that's what the Owls defense needs right here, a punt or a field goal, and get the ball back to Caden Veltkamp. But the Huskies offense has been humming.
After a punt on that first second-half drive, 2 touchdown drives from UConn.
They're going to work on the play clock there, open it up. Check under the hood, see what's going on.
And they just pulled the wire out.
Yeah, just turning it off. Not going to work on it.
First down and 10 for UConn at the Huskies. 25.
They tried turning it off and on again.
Yeah.
7:13 to play. Handoff Edwards. Edwards has space to the far side. There's a flag as Edwards is shoved out at midfield. Owls think this one's coming
Edwards,
back.
Ball carrier, but there is a flag on the play.
And they may still get the first down based on the location of the flag, but they're not going to get the full run.
Holding. Offense, number 1. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. It's first down.
They're going to get Skylar Bell at wide receiver for the hold. As Edwards had hit that cutback lane, and Bell right in the middle of the screen, number 1. Yep, just grabbing onto the arm of Therese Reed. He had a chance to stop Edwards there, and the flag comes in.
So figuring out where to spot it here.
Yeah, it was about 7 yards downfield from the line of scrimmage of where the foul occurred. So it's a spot foul. They move it back 10 from that spot. You get about a 1st and 13 here.
Under 7 minutes to play. Edwards on the sweep. Not much, just a yard back. UConn again coming off that game against Air Force. They'd love to put a long, slow, sustained Air Force style drive right now and milk out this game. Get FAU all 3 timeouts to work with.
Now that's the balance that Savannah was talking about earlier. Situations in the game, when you need to throw the ball, can you throw it? When you need to run it, can you run it? That's what UConn has done well all season. They feel like this is a situation where they want to try to grind out some clock and run the football. But Florida Atlantic makes a good stop there.
Edwards, 12 carries for 78 yards today. Fignano to throw. Outside, a couple yards. Third down and long coming up. Chance for this FAU defense to get off the field after the tackle of Edwards. 6 minutes to play.
And the pass rushing package coming in for Florida Atlantic. Josh Roberts, Ty Coolhill-Lumen, 96 and 14. Those are the guys to look for. They like to try to use them in twists and stunts, moving them around, try to confuse the offensive line. They're going to try to get to Fignano here and put some pressure on him.
Huskies need 8. Owls bring pressure. They're going over the top, and it's too long. Couple yards ahead of Skylar Bell. No flags on the field, and FAU is going to get the football back with 5.5 to play.
Josh Roberts, the true freshman, got a hand in the face of Fignano. Good man-to-man coverage on Bell, and Florida Atlantic with a key stop there to give Veldkamp the football back.
3 and out for this UConn offense. Stutz for 67 on his punts earlier today. Nice spiraling kick. Messer is going to let it bounce. Heads towards the sideline. UConn will surround and down it at the 23. 5:25 to play. Well, the drama is ramping up here in Boca. Bull hopes on the line for FAU. FAU football down 3, 5:25 to play. Caden Veldkamp helping lead this comeback. 38 for 50, 418 yards.
And Veldkamp just one completion away from tying his own school record that he set last week. He was doing it on the ground today too, flipping into the end zone. The 90-yard touchdown on 4th and 1 from their own 10. Another 4th down touchdown pass to his best buddy, Easton Messer. What a day for Caden Veldkamp.
Owls on the ground on 1st and 10. Shields Dutton, heavy second half workload. We'll get to the 30, 31-yard line. What's been particularly impressive about how Veldkamp has led this comeback? What have you seen from a potential future NFL QB?
I think he's done a really nice job pre-snap of recognizing what UConn may be trying to do, getting Florida Atlantic in the right plays and finding the weaknesses in those defenses and hitting his slot receivers.
Zach Kitley encourages him to make those checks at the line. He trusts him. That's what he wants out of his quarterbacks. 2 runs here on the drive to earn 1st down. It's 1st and 10. Shields Dutton straight up Biscayne towards midfield down to the 44.
Florida Atlantic just pounding it on the ground. UConn's giving them a light box looking to defend the pass. They're keeping it on the ground with their big back, Shields Dutton, and we've got a UConn player down. It's Cam Chadwick, the corner.
Richard, sophomore from New Jersey. At the 3-interception game against UAB earlier this year. There's a run of 9 on the play. FAU, we talk about the conference race, certainly out of the picture, but boy, at the top right now, it's a jumble. This final week or two is going to be a lot of fun there. Navy at 6-1, they've got their final league game. North Texas, Tulane, ECU, all at 5-1. Of course, Tulane was the top-ranked team in the CFP rankings this past week. Boy, a logjam at the top there.
Well, East Carolina down big at UTSA now, down 50-10, so they're basically going to be knocked out, for at least for now, of that wild race at the top. And Tulane and North Texas the most likely to get in, but Navy, the midshipmen, I mean, I love that team with that offense with Blake Horvath and Heidenreich and all his weapons he's got. It's going to be a fun finish in the American, and good to see Chadwick on his feet moving off the field now.
Chadwick's had himself a nice game. Hey, look around the American. Eric Morris has done such a great job at North Texas. Navy with the upset, if you will, over South Florida the other week. Fun finish coming up in league play. Fun finish coming up here. 2nd and 1. Into the pads of Shields Dutton, securing the first down. Closer to midfield. Clock keeps ticking, 4.5 to play.
So it's Osiris Gilbert, the true freshman, coming in at corner for Chadwick. We'll see if Florida Atlantic wants to attack him, and now another UConn player down on the field. It's Aaron Key, one of their linebackers, a grad transfer, that veteran unit at linebacker. So a tough sequence here for the Huskies with Chadwick, the corner, starting corner with 4 picks, leading the team going out on the previous play. Now Aaron Key, one of their important linebackers, down on the field as Florida Atlantic's trying to come back in this football game.
Owls closing in on field goal range. Earlier in this game, offensively for UConn, Skylar Bell was nicked up and has been a big part of the offense since coming back midway through the 3rd.
It's been a fun battle today between the two top receivers in the country in receptions. Bell came in leading the country with 93 for UConn. Easton Messer with 83 for Florida Atlantic. And so far today, Bell with 7 catches for 118 and Messer with 10 for 90. So they're gonna stay right there, 1-2 in the country in receptions.
They're combined for 227 receiving yards today. This has been an incredible game, over 1,000 yards of offense between the two teams.
Both quarterbacks over 400 passing.
Both closing in on school records. Veldkamp, empty backfield, out route, Messer diving, it's incomplete. Ball hit the ground.
Now the slot receivers are typically the focus of an air raid offense, and they have certainly been the focus today with Messer and Wasim combining for 22 catches. This one just between the hands and just skipping right between the hands of Messer on the ground, clearly incomplete.
Sands is the tailback here. FAU approaching 600 total yards of offense. Veldkamp towards the sideline. Complete near the marker. Dom Henry with the grab. 6th catch. 140 plus yards. Under 4 minutes to play. It's going to be 3rd down and 2. Quick snap. Veldkamp. Veldkamp running and sliding for the first down. Got his tailback as his lead blocker. And FAU moves the sticks.
A really nice block by Jamari Sands there. And when you run the quarterback, you even up the numbers. Because when you hand it off, the quarterback can't block anybody. You're playing on 10 on 11, but when the quarterback runs, you even it up. And they're able to pick up the first down.
It's the first designed run for Veldkamp today. This time he'll hand off. Sands, shifty, spinning to the 31.
How about Florida Atlantic on the ground this drive? They have just been pounding it with Sands and Shields Dutton right up the middle, moving the ball down the field as UConn has sat back and tried to defend the pass.
This has been one of FAU's most impressive games on the ground this season, nearly 6 yards per carry. 8-2 here, back to Sands, lassoed forward, but not before securing another first. FAU taking time off the clock. UConn still has all 3 timeouts.
Florida Atlantic's run 82 plays. UConn D-line could be getting a little tired on this drive.
See, Zach Kitley keeps trusting his offensive line here to create some room in the run game. Low snap. Veldkamp's going to throw, back shoulder to Henry. Caught just outside the 10. Perfect placement on the throw. It's precise to Henry who hauls it in.
A nice ball there from Veldkamp. Good anticipation throw, putting it where only Henry can get it, and that's the freshman Gilbert who had to step in for the injured Chadwick at corner.
Crowd a little antsy here as another UConn defender needs a moment. It's Antonio Harris Jr. now.
The crowd is booing because they're probably thinking, well, is UConn doing this on purpose to slow down the tempo? But then you've also got the idea of guys from Connecticut in November coming down to the heat and the humidity of South Florida. It doesn't cool down that much here. We had a cool down a couple weeks ago, but it stays pretty warm here in South Florida in November. You could be cramping up here, 84 plays into this game for the UConn defense.
When it gets under 80 in South Florida, that's when they break out the sweaters, the fleeces.
Yeah, but the Huskies are like, man, it's hot down here. It's been in the 30s and 40s up there in Connecticut.
Harris able to walk back to the sideline. 1st and 10 at the 11-yard line for the Owls. 2-minute timeout approaching.
10 from the 11-yard line.
Veldkamp, designed run. Veldkamp makes a man miss. Veldkamp scores! Owls lead again late in the 4th.
Wow, what a ball game it's been, back and forth. Florida Atlantic was down 24-3 in the first quarter, came back and took the lead. Then they were down 10 points. They come back and take the lead again. And Veldkamp just reading the middle linebacker there, Brian Parham, as he flies into the backfield. That tells him to pull the ball, breaks a tackle, gets to the end zone. 2nd rushing touchdown of the day for Caden Veldkamp.
Went into running back mode there, made McLean miss. What a move. PAT is good, which makes this a touchdown game. 45-41, field goal will do no good with 2:11 left to play here at Boca.
And now Joe Frignano gets his turn with the football for the Huskies. You get another look here at Veldkamp evading the tacklers, finding the end zone. What a day it's been. 40 completions, a new school record, breaking his own record. Couple rushing touchdowns, and Owsley having some fun riding the little cart. 76-yard scoring drive for FAU to take the lead.
This is perhaps the game of the season for both of these teams, whoever comes out on top. UConn was in a thriller with Duke a couple weeks ago. Game-winning touchdown with under 2 minutes to play. This Huskies side has had such a magical season. They've had some real valleys throughout the 2010s. 4 wins in 3 combined years between 18, 19, and 21. Jim Mora came in, got him to a bowl game, then a bit of a step back in his 2nd season. But then the 9-win season last year. And a chance to follow that up. Back-to-back 9-win campaigns for the first time in UConn history. Everyone in the state just having a blast at the resurgence of Husky football. What a cap this would be to the regular season if Joe Fignano could possibly lead a touchdown drive here.
The Huskies need a touchdown, and Fignano 3 times this year has led UConn to fourth quarter drives to tie or win the game. Against Syracuse, they tied it up, lost in overtime, led up to a game-winning field goal drive against Buffalo and a game-winning touchdown drive against Duke. Does Joe have a little more magic in him here for the Huskies?
Huskies haven't been relevant like this since Dan Orlovsky was leading the way. That Fiesta Bowl appearance in 2010. Down by 4, 2:11 to go. Fignano delivers a strike. Lewis Hansen another grab. Huskies hustling, but that will send us to the 2-minute timeout. Positive first play on first down. UConn closing in on midfield here in the fourth quarter. 45-41, 2 minutes left to play at Flagler Credit Union Stadium. This past week in the American Conference lost longtime Assistant Commissioner of Communications Chuck Sullivan, who had worked in the conference office since 2007. For a 25-year career spanning all 3 divisions of the NCAA, Chuck was among one of the most well-respected communications professionals in collegiate athletics, a tireless ambassador for the American student athletes and teams, made a positive impact on everyone he worked with. Chuck was the consummate colleague, friend, supervisor, and mentor, was more importantly an even better husband, father, brother, and son. Thought we might get a quarterback duel today, and it has delivered more than most people could anticipate.
Oh man, it's been so much fun. Joe Fignano, Caden Veldkamp going back and forth, both over 400 yards passing, a combined 7 touchdowns. They've been great mentally, diagnosing defenses and making great throws, and we still got more action coming.
After the gain of 16 on the completion to Hansen, it's 1st and 10. Slant route, Bell into his hands, incomplete near midfield.
The Skylar Bell is going to be the guy to watch on this drive, and he's got to have it type of situations. UConn is going to Bell, their wideout from the Bronx, transfer from Wisconsin. Keep an eye on him.
Vignano in the pocket. Delivers over the top of Hansen, out of play. 3rd down and 3 coming up.
Vignano was wanting to go to Bell on a deep route down the field, but Florida Atlantic got Chris Keys, their safety, over the top of it to take it away. But Vignano couldn't complete the underneath throw. A big 3rd down here. I imagine the Huskies want to run the football here. They're bringing Victor Rosa in the game. I think they're going to go spread. They're going to throw it here. Rosa's typically in passing situations, and Bell's in the slot at the bottom of the screen, their go-to guy.
Rosa in for Brown. Minute 36 to play. Huskies need a touchdown on this drive. Owlson 4. Vignano, 1st down strike. It's Lewis Hansen again. One of his favorite targets today. Hansen has 7 grabs, and UConn moves the chains.
And Hansen just settling in an open space between Florida Atlantic's zone defenders. Good pocket, and Vignano with an accurate ball.
Vignano in midfield. Deep down the field, through the hands of Bell, nearly picked off. Wendell Philord probably wasn't expecting that to go through the hands of Bell.
Bell right over the middle. Vignano just a little bit high. Bell couldn't get up to it. Some pressure from Florida Atlantic perhaps made Vignano a little bit off the mark with that throw.
On 2nd down, watch the blitz through the hands of Rosa. Owls got penetration, 3rd and long for the Huskies.
Bryce Langston with that pressure there. Coming right up the middle, big number 7. And Rosa just took his eyes off of that one. But Florida Atlantic was going to be right there to put a hit on him. And there's offensive coordinator Gordon Samus trying to dial up a good play call for his Huskies here on 3rd and long. Florida Atlantic showing pressure.
The Owls were down by 24, 3rd and 10. Handoff to Brown. Mel Brown right at the marker. He's a yard short. 3rd and 10, the Huskies run it. You're getting to the line quickly here. They don't want to burn a timeout in case they don't get the yard. FAU, I believe, just took a timeout.
Now the Owls want to talk about this 4th down, what they want to do defensively, and also make sure they save enough time for their offense if UConn goes down the field. But nice block by Wes Ho, the center there, helping Brown get to the open field, just short of the 1st down, but Huskies can have a chance here on 4th and 1.
Not sure what caused the stoppage. There was actually no official timeout.
Clock operator.
4th down.
We just put 1:13, 1:13 on the clock.
Getting the clock
to start on my ready for play.
To the right spot, 1:13. Play of the game right here, 4th and 1. Brown got 9 on 3rd and 10. He remains in the game. Now FAU will call timeout. The ball at the 35 here. After the run from Brown.
And we'll see as his knee goes down. He's at the 35. His elbow is down there, and the ball is at the 35 when his left elbow goes down. So that should be a good spot there at the 35-yard line. 4th and 1 for the Huskies.
How do you approach this if you're UConn offensively?
I think you're a run-the-ball kind of team with an O-line coach as the offensive coordinator. You've got a great offensive line. I think you got to pound it. Go on the ground here with Cam Edwards. And this is the ball game right here for UConn.
UConn needs a yard out of the pistol. Vignano gives to Edwards. Edwards has the 1st down and powering for more. Cam Edwards to the 27.
What a tough run by Edwards. You could tell he wanted that one. He just came blasting through that D line of Florida Atlantic to move the chains.
Edwards would not be denied. He's closing in on 100. 1 minute to go. Fignano batted at the line of scrimmage. Incomplete pass. Marcelin there.
Bottom of the screen, Marcelin, number 11, doing a good job of recognizing the ball's coming out quick, get the hands up, bat it down.
It was late drama at home against Duke a couple weeks ago with a late touchdown. Fignano, pressure coming from the edge. He gets the throw off. Incomplete. Diving effort to knock it down. Tooley was there. 3rd and 10.
And Najon Barber had the pressure on Fignano. The Owls have done a good job of speeding it up on this drive. Batiste coming around the edge, number 5, slings him to the ground. And that made it tough for Fignano to throw an accurate ball there.
Bell and Edwards both in the backfield here on 3rd and 10. Fignano throwing across the middle, completes to the 17. This should be a first down. Remelo Murphy holds it in.
Now Florida Atlantic was worried about that wheel route to Bell on the outside that opened up the middle of the field.
Quickly now, Edwards to the far side. Chopped down at the 10. And UConn takes their first timeout. Oh, it's coming down to the wire here.
Man, what a ball game. 37 seconds left. UConn driving to try to take the lead. Here was the chain mover right over the middle to Murphy. And then they go on the ground to Edwards. Nice block by Brady Wayburn, 66, playing with a broken foot. Edwards has been running tough on this drive.
12 plays, 65 yards so far on this drive. Ridiculous offensive numbers today.
Got to look out for Skylar Bell in this situation. He's at the bottom of the screen. Florida Atlantic bringing a safety over to try and get an extra defender near him.
UConn at 590 yards. They're going to need 600 to win this game. Fignano, screen pass, outside. Porter shoved out of play.
And Therese Reed doing a good job of fighting off of that block from Hansen to prevent that from being a bigger play. And 3rd and short here for the Huskies.
Just about a yard needed.
2 timeouts left for UConn. They can still run the ball. And I think that's what they want to do here.
Edwards to give. Cuts upfield. Edwards right at the cusp of the goal line. UConn needs just 1 more yard. They go to the line quick. Whistles blow it dead beforehand. FAU takes their 2nd timeout. Edwards was that close.
Game clock operator, please reset.
A great blocking on the left side of the line there.
2-8.
Edwards cutting it back and just short of the goal line. But Florida Atlantic taking that timeout just to try to preserve some time, any time for their offense.
How do you approach this defensively, Patrick? Just 1 timeout left. As UConn scores here, you got about 25 seconds to work with. It feels like you have to put all your chips in defensively here.
Yeah, I don't think you can let them score here. I mean, that's something that's become a strategy to talk about. But with this little amount of time left and only 1 timeout, I don't think you let them score. I think the Florida Atlantic defense is going to have to stand strong here. You could hit 4 plays, 3 or 4 plays to try to make a stop, and this is the game right here. CJ Doggett, the leader on that defensive line.
Pitch play. Edwards, he's in, and UConn leads once more. Oh, Connecticut, can you believe this?
Wow, what a ball game. UConn just going quick to the line of scrimmage. The big maulers on the right side of the O-line. Karsten Cassidy getting a big block. And Edwards just pounding it into the end zone. When they needed to run the football, UConn did it late in this ball game to take the lead.
UConn gonna send Freeman out for the PAT to make it a field goal game. 15 plays, 75 yards, a minute 45. A surgical drive from Joe Fignano, who Jim Mora affectionately calls Joey. Joey says only him and Fignano's mom are given that privilege. He's yelling Joey after this. Cam Edwards scores.
A great job by the tight ends and the offensive line. Alex Honig with a nice block for UConn, and Edwards over 100 yards on the game now, 101 and 2 scores. Jim Mora looking to give UConn its first ever back-to-back 9-win seasons. They go 15 plays, 75 yards in a minute 45.
Did you have any thoughts of going for 2 there? We fine with the field goal lead at this point.
No, I think you play it safe there with 26 seconds left. Just take the field goal lead. Make sure that Florida Atlantic cannot beat you with a field goal.
Yeah, that certainly would have been a bold move, but then again, we saw a 4th and 1 from their own 10 from FAU today. So
we've seen some bold ones today.
I asked just in case. 26 seconds and a timeout to work with.
And Zach Kitley told us earlier this week about the 35-yard line would be the target to get to for a long field goal try for Garrison Smith.
He's taken out of the back of the end zone here. Time coming off the clock. Platt got grabbed by the face mask, though, but he was only at the 12.
And there's a flag on the play.
He winds up where he would have with the kneel down or a touchback, but a couple seconds run off the clock.
Yeah, I don't think that was a good decision there. I mean, Platt's a good playmaker in the kick return game, but I think you got to take the knee there and let the offense get it from the 25.
Personal foul, face mask, kicking team, 15-yard penalty from the end of the play, first down, FAU.
4 lead changes here in the second half. Here's a look at Platt's return.
Number
Platt
3
just wanting
can
to
stay
make
in
a
the
play
game
there,
due
but
to the
probably
helmet
should take
foul.
the knee, and then here you'll see
First
the
down.
face mask. Just grabbing onto it and yanking it. That's a pretty clear one, right? Took his helmet off. Not going to get any more clear than that.
Again, even with the penalty, they wind up at the 26, and they lose 4 precious seconds there. Veldkamp can't take a sack. Steps forward. Wide open Platts. Scrambling to get out of bounds. He's across midfield. Right to the 45. FAU needs about 10 or so more yards to give their kicker a chance. It's Garrison Smith warming up on the sideline.
And they still have the timeout left, so they can use the middle of the field if they need to, like Veldkamp did on that play.
.27 yards on the play. Veldkamp again, this time to Messer. Messer to the 20 and dives forward. 4 seconds to go. Owls are in field goal range, and the timeout is called. This is unbelievable.
Wow, what a 2-play sequence.
It's the first time in FAU history they've had 3 100-yard receivers. Messer gets across 100 with a miraculous play.
Great pocket presence there from Veldkamp, and then Jayshawn Platt here making the moves to get extra yardage, but also get out of bounds and stop the clock, give the chance for the Owls to reset, and then Messer just picking apart the zone defense over the middle. Great throw from Veldkamp, and here's Florida Atlantic right in position to tie this game. Took them just 2 plays.
And Easton Messer breaks the school, Caden Veldkamp breaks the school record for passing yards in a game. 494 now, breaking Chris Robinson's record. And Garrison Smith to try to send this to overtime. 36 yards from the left hash. He's made from 49 today. Smith, kick is up, he hooked it! Oh no, Garrison Smith hooked it! UConn wins the game. It's a 9-win season. Back-to-back 9 wins for the first time in program history. And it's heartbreak in Boca Raton.
You're going to have a hard time finding a better game than that today. What a fantastic finish, going back and forth. Florida Atlantic gets in position to tie it. Can't get it done on the field goal, but how about Joe Fignano, the UConn Huskies, winning 9 games in back-to-back years for the first time in program history. Fignano leads the comeback touchdown drive for the Huskies with Cam Edwards pounding it in. What a game.
What an incredible finish. FAU set up a 36-yard field goal on 2 plays. This one never had a chance.
The operation looked clean, just hooked it. High pressure situation. And the holder not happy with that one.
Frustration evident.
Logan Lupo, the punter.
Though. What a heartbreaking loss. And Zach Kitley doing everything he can. Garrison Smith has been so reliable this year. One he would love back there. One of the games of the season here in Boca Raton tonight. Big thanks to our entire production team. Pat, what a game we just saw.
Oh man, that was so much fun.
Second half lead changes, unreal. Over 1,000 yards of offense, over 1,200 yards of offense. UConn wins 48-41. For Patrick Murray, Savannah Collins, and our entire crew, I'm AJ Ricketts. Good night from South Florida. All games airing on the ESPN Network, streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN. Celebrate up in Connecticut. UConn, 9 wins again.